Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Nintendo Pow Block here on the Boss Network. I'm your host, Corey Dirrig. I am not that retro code Eddie B, but, you know, show must go on. Am I right? A little bit of Nintendo casuals energy today, because with me is my co-host of Xbox Casuals and Tower Casuals, the Destiny podcast, the one, the only, my favorite co-host on the Citadel, Josh Finney.
It's me.
It is you. Hi, Josh.
Hi.
This is a little bit of a different environment, huh?
Yeah, I think I've been on Pow Block maybe one time in the past. Maybe?
I'm not sure.
If I had, it's been several years.
Yeah, I mean, the last time you were on anything Nintendo related was the Direct recap that we did.
Oh, man. Yeah, that was... Oh, Jesus.
It was in April, I think. Maybe.
So that's where your mind went. Mine went back to the release of the Mario All-Stars collection.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, that was like 5 years ago.
Yeah, that was a long time ago, huh?
But yes, that might have been the last time I was on Pow Block proper. But yes, I'm here. I'm back. I like Nintendo.
Josh claims he likes Nintendo. Everybody, write that down.
I claim I like Nintendo, despite what some folks may think. I do actually like Nintendo.
Yeah, I mean, we all have our gripes.
We do all have our gripes.
To be fair, we have our gripes with Xbox also, and we do all.
God, we do a show twice a month where you can hear all my gripes about Xbox.
And then the following weeks, you can hear all of his gripes about Destiny.
Yes. Yes.
As if everybody else doesn't hear enough of me talking about Destiny on all these other shows.
Oh, man. Am I the only one with some FOMO around PAX West right now?
I mean, I definitely am, but I mean, it is what it is.
A little jealous of like everyone on my timeline getting to play Silksong, either on the Switch or on the Ally X, and then seeing the same people talk about playing Hades on those devices.
I also got several messages today that people were playing Final Fantasy VII on the Switch.
Final Fantasy VII, the Tactics panel happened. People are playing Resident Evil Requiem.
Yep, the Expedition 33 panels tomorrow. I want to say
something like that. Sunday? I think there's a D&D panel happening too, I believe. Like, I've got massive FOMO right now. Yeah. I told myself it wasn't going to bother me, and I talked a lot of shit on Thursday, saying, yeah, it's not going to bother me. Oh, it's bothering me now. It's bothering me now. I'm like, oh man, should have just paid for that plane ticket. Should have just gone.
Yeah, but that's a long plane ride, man, and like there's so much other going on.
It's like a long plane ride. I've got long legs, man.
Yeah. It's tough. It's tough being tall and getting on that plane, you know. I mean, you know just from going to Disney. So
yeah, I'm not built for plane rides, man. My anxiety has gone up as an adult.
Yeah. Planes in particular.
Yeah. No, like seriously, like I've flown my entire life, like multiple times a year. And like around the time I hit 23, 24, it started bothering me for some reason.
Yep.
I think that's when like I started becoming more aware of turbulence. I wasn't just like sleeping on planes. I was like, oh god, this is terrible. So now I'm the degenerate you see at the airport bar at 4:45 in the morning.
I mean, it's 5 o'clock somewhere, Josh.
Yeah, that's right. The great songstress James Buffett once said that.
He did say that. He also had a restaurant chain called Cheeseburger in Paradise, Josh. So
that's true. I have been there, and I've been to Margaritaville.
Yeah, there was heavily a Cheeseburger in Paradise about 20 minutes from where I live, Josh. And I've been to that one.
They would see me so much. Listen, I don't take much from my dad, but his love of Jimmy Buffett is absolutely something that I have like carried with me in my life. Not his love of the Dallas Cowboys, his love of Jimmy Buffett. So, I had a therapist once tell me, she was like, you have a California mindset on a Midwestern budget. And I was like, okay. And she was like, but you dress like you belong at Margaritaville. And I didn't know how to take that.
Oh, well,
I didn't know. And then I looked down and realized it's February in Texas. I'm wearing cargo shorts, flip-flops, and what can only be described as a clearance bin off-brand Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah, it sounds
and I was like, and I had very long hair. Like I've cut my hair recently, but my hair used to be down past my shoulders. And I was like, you know what? I did once claim that if I didn't have to work for a living and make actual money, I would probably go run fishing boats in the Keys. So this tracks. This tracks. I say all that to say, Nintendo, where's my Wave Race sequel? Where's my sequel to Blue Storm after all these years? I've been waiting patiently.
I mean, we did get a question in the Discord about that. So maybe we'll you know what, Josh?
It won't hurt to see GameCube questions.
You know what, Josh? We're gonna tackle this question right now.
Before we started, Corey was like, all right, so the flow show's gonna be a little bit different than on our normal shows. And I was like, great, I've got it pulled up in front of me. We're not even 10 minutes in, and I've just like looked at it and crumpled it up and thrown it away.
I mean, yeah, I mean, this
is what happens when Ed's not here. Sorry, Ed.
I mean, well, Ed's the show changes drastically when Ed's here also. So I don't even know why I write these up anymore.
It's fair. I do it to Laurent too.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Yep. What Nintendo franchise do you want to see make a comeback on the Switch 2, Josh?
Oh, sweet Jesus. I've got 3 and they're all GameCube. They're all GameCube adjacent.
Shocking.
Yeah, shocking. My favorite Nintendo console of all time, the Nintendo GameCube, just ahead of the Game Boy Advance.
GameCube's great.
Oh man, God, I've got 4 answers for this.
I mean,
so my honorable mention is Wave Race. As much I just joked about it, I have a soft spot for Wave Race just because I was the perfect age for Wave Race 64 and Blue Storm. Blue Storm, I remember when it came out with the GameCube, was like the best looking game I'd ever seen in my entire life.
I mean, the water, man.
The water physics were just amazing. Even if I was just doing like the tutorial island and driving around outside of it, I think it's still one of like 8 or 9 GameCube games I have in my closet. I have all the classics, right? I've got Metroid Prime, I've got Wind Waker, the greatest game of all time. I've got Mario Sunshine. I might still have Resident Evil 4 for the GameCube. I don't remember. I'm pretty sure my dad sold it. And then there's Wave Race 64. Or Blue Storm, excuse me. So yeah, I would love to see Wave Race come back. Jokingly, non-jokingly, I think that would be like an amazing $15 eShop franchise. Where's that instead of Drag X Drive? That's what I want to know. My non-joking answers though, I really do need F-Zero to come back.
It did. It's on NSO.
That does not
the
count.
GameCube version.
That does not. The fact that that's the last real F-Zero that it was that was the last home console F-Zero that I got. The last real F-Zero I got was GP Legend. Like a year later, we had like that 13 episode anime that went with it and was awesome. It was on Fox Kids. You got Kirby right back at you, and then you got F-Zero right afterwards. Mm-hmm. And it was a magical fall season for me in 2004. Magical. That was like
private Josh's life.
we were coming out of like a good Digimon season, the last good one. Like Yu-Gi-Oh was hitting its peak. We were in the Battle City finals, and then they did this to me, and this was cooler than everything else. And I haven't gotten. I've gotten F all since.
You got F-Zero 99, Josh.
I did like F-Zero 99, but it's not the same.
I mean, that's fair.
It's not the same. GX did something that I look back on and I did not appreciate enough as a 10-year-old child when that came out. And that is do a story mode, which is still one of the hardest things I've ever tried to play in a game, I think. Mm-hmm. That story mode is just bonkers. Give me that, but with like 50%. It was the Dark Souls of racing games.
Souls of racing games.
I was like looking up how to cheat in the Samurai Go-Ro race when I was like 10 years old. It's like the third race in the game, and I was getting my ass wiped.
I mean, that's fair. Yeah.
Ridiculous. So F-Zero's on that list. I gotta go with Custom Robo. I love Custom. I still have Custom Robo for the game.
Not Chibi Robo.
No, Custom Robo. the beloved Japanese mech battle simulator.
Mm-hmm.
I remember seeing.
Dude, that box art is so. I can see the box art in my.
I still have it. I swear to God, if it wasn't like it's stacked up in my closet, I would go get it right now. That is one of the fabled GameCube games I still have. I'll never forgive Game Informer for giving it like a 5.5 out of 10. I'll never forgive them for it, because that was, of all the games that me and my friends love to spend time on, that was one that we sunk so many hours into. It's a blast. I love it. I think I still have the one for 3DS sitting around here, for DS, despite not having owned a DS in 15, 16 years. I think I still have that singular game.
Yeah. I mean,
but I feel like we've advanced in game development and in technology enough. It's time.
Yeah.
It's time. Give me a new F-Zero. Like, have y'all seen how popular anime has become? Give me
I've heard of this anime.
Give me a 3D stylized, like, I don't know, give me like a mashup between like 3D anime, obviously like 3D animation, like Custom Robo is, and like the vibrancy of the colors and the action from something like Demon Slayer or like the latest Gundams. Like, give me something like that. I would take something stylized like Cyberpunk Edge Runners. I would take any multitude of things, as long as you slap the Custom Robo name on it. I don't care. You don't even have to give me a story. I don't care. Like, there is a story. I don't care about the story in these games. I'm here to build robots and, kick ass, and I'm all out of robots to build.
Yes, you are.
My number one. Where is Golden Sun? I have to know. I feel like Darth Vader when he gets put into the armor and is talking to Palpatine. When he asks where Padme is, where is Golden Sun? Is he all right? Is he safe? Every time okay? I feel like we're about to. Where is Golden Sun? Is he all right? And I feel like Palpatine is like talking to me, and it's like Doug Bowser speaking to me, and he's like, it seems in your non-purchasing of games, you killed him.
No.
Yeah, y'all complain so much about the 3DS one that we're not giving you one. Or the DS, 3DS, they all blend together for me. One of the dual screen handhelds got a Golden Sun, and we all complained about it, and they didn't give me another one.
I think it was the DS. There's 3 of them total, right? Because 2 of them were on Game Boy Advance.
The 2 on Game Boy Advance. So, Pow Block, I have a confession to make. I bought a Switch 2 at launch. One, to be able to play Metro Prime 4 to the best of its abilities when it comes out, whenever that is, probably like next year, knowing my luck. But also, so that I could play Golden Sun 1, 2, and Wind Waker on NSO.
I mean,
I played like 10 hours total of Mario Kart World. Everything else has been spent playing the games that I cannot afford to buy secondhand anymore.
I mean, that's fair, right? I mean, that's...
God, sure. Dude, I love Golden Sun so much. I remember being so excited when Isaac got put into Smash as an assist trophy. And I was like, when they started making some of the assist trophies into characters for Ultimate, I was like, oh, this is it. This is it. Isaac is going to be one. I'm going to get a new Golden Sun announced. My dream and my hope is that Monolith Soft makes one. Right?
And they're working on a non-Xenoblade project right now. They have 2 projects.
Dude, if it's Golden Sun, y'all are going to hear me scream from across the world. I'm going to cry. I'm going to scream.
We know 3 of the projects they're working on, Josh. Well, in quotes, no, right? 1 is the next Zelda game.
Yeah.
1 is Xenoblade, a Xeno something project.
Mm-hmm.
And 1 is a JRPG that nobody knows what it is.
Dude, if it's Golden
like a
Sun,
traditional.
y'all are gonna see me melt down to degrees that you have never seen before. When I talk about things that I liked as a kid, but I did not appreciate until I was older, Golden Sun is like at the top of that list.
Mm-hmm.
It's like nap time, Golden Sun, in terms of things I did not appreciate as an adolescent.
Nap time.
Yeah, nap time. Also, being able to function without caffeine is like a strong contender for that list. But no, seriously, like I love Golden Sun so much. It was like the JRPG that like everybody else fell in love with Final Fantasy when I was like 9-10 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I liked Final Fantasy. I loved Golden Sun.
Yeah, I've been toying with the idea of playing the NSO one recently.
I think that 1 and 2 still hold up so good.
Yeah,
and I liked that 2 like told a non-linear. Well, it's not non-linear, but it acts as both a prequel and a sequel to Golden Sun,
mm-hmm.
which I really really like. Like it runs kind of concurrently, which man. I love those games so much. I love them so much. After all my years of begging, I finally got another 2D Metroid. So I figure if I just like beg enough and put it out into the universe every single Nintendo Direct, eventually I'll be happy with one of these franchises coming back. And knowing my luck, Wave Race will be the first one.
I don't know, Josh. I have a good feeling about Golden Sun this gen.
I said that last gen. I've said that for like 8 years now, man.
Yeah, but it's time. I have a good feeling about that, and I have a good feeling about Kid Icarus because I feel like Kid Icarus is about to come back too.
So Kid Icarus, that's why I think I was so surprised when Air Riders got announced, because I was dead ass certain that Sakurai was going to go work on something like Kid Icarus next.
Yeah, I actually think Kid Icarus would work in a similar vein to what they've done with Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, but more vertical.
Yeah. So it's funny that you say that, because I think that it would actually work really good as a Hollow Knight style game, like make it into a Metroidvania.
Yeah, I mean it could do the Metroid thing, or it could do both, right? I mean it could do both, right? I mean as the way that Zelda does. I do
have an honorable mention as well.
Oh boy.
I didn't mention it because it has had, for better or worse, it has had installments more recently. Star Fox.
Well,
Star Fox is also one of those that I feel like we've like mythologically built up in our minds to be better than it actually is.
Mm-hmm.
I liked 64, but also like, again, in terms of things I did not appreciate at the time. And then as I got older, like the jump from N64 to GameCube was so jarring, right? Mm-hmm. It was genuinely hard as like a 9-10-year-old to like go back and play those games afterwards, with the notable exception of Majora's Mask.
Yeah.
So because Ocarina of Time I played on the GameCube, I still have the Master Quest disc somewhere. Mm-hmm. I have a soft spot for Star Fox Assault, funny enough, on the GameCube.
Mm-hmm.
I remember thinking like that was when I was first starting to like understand the industry and whatnot, and how exclusive worked and whatnot. I thought it was really, really cool that Sega and Bandai Namco helped with some of the Nintendo projects around that time. I remember thinking that was so cool. Like to me, that was like unheard of, right?
Right.
And I just don't think that I've gotten a Star Fox experience like since. Like, there's been Star Fox games, but have they been good?
Yeah, I mean, I still stand by that the game that Ubisoft did is still the best Star Fox game we've gotten. Yeah, since
we were just talking about this on another show a couple weeks ago.
Yeah,
that was probably the best that happened, and that was during the Toys to Life craze too.
Yeah.
The rest of the game was cheeks, but they did really good with the Star Fox stuff, and it's the best Star Fox game that we've gotten maybe ever.
Yeah, I would say ever. I mean, even with nostalgia play in it, right? Like, I mean, N6, like, then I would say, like, a lot of people.
Like, I'm deliberately not bringing up Adventures because I think Adventures is cheeks.
Well, it's also not really a Star Fox game.
No, right? It's not. I mean, it was supposed to be completely different. Dinosaur Planet.
Yeah, I have the N64 box with Dinosaur Planet on the side of it. So, Yes, it did start as an N64 game, everybody. Shocking. It's right there with Shadows of the Empire and Mario 64 and I don't know, something else. Wave Race, I think.
It started as an N64 game. There was another Animal Crossing was an N64 franchise originally too.
Yeah, it actually came out on the 64 DD in Japan. So Animal, what was it? It wasn't called Animal Crossing there. It was called like Animal Village, I think, there or something.
It was something like that. Like that Custom Robo was one that started on the N64 also in Japan. Because I remember that was what I was like, oh my god, like seeing the trophies for the first time. Like it was one of those things like Melee. I don't think, not to get off topic, I don't think we give enough credit to Melee for introducing the West to so many franchises like before the internet was able to.
Fire Emblem, anybody?
Fire Emblem is the big one. Like I remember like Roy and Marth were my two favorite to play as. The music was awesome for them. I still have the Nintendo Power promo disc for the Melee music that came in it. I swear I wore that CD out because I only listened to the Fire Emblem theme over and over and over again. And it was funny. They had to release Fire Emblem out of order in the West because they had to make sure they got the one that had like Roy in it out. Or Marth in it, excuse me. It was Marth because the Roy one didn't come out for years.
Yeah, because they released first
that was Shadow Dragon.
Shadow Dragon was the DS one that was a remake of the first one. So Sacred Stones, Burning something, and there were two Game Boy Advance ones, and then what was it? Path of Radiance was the GameCube one with Ike in it.
Yes.
Roy was one, and then who was the other one?
Marth.
Not Marth. Yeah, I'm not thinking about Marth though. There's another character that they released. One of the GBA games was in it. It doesn't matter, I guess. But yeah, I mean, who knew who these characters were, right? I mean, nobody. We were like, oh, okay, more characters for Smash. Cool. But yeah, I mean, Fire Emblem was a big one. What was the other big one that was introduced through that? I mean, I think a lot of people got introduced to Metroid that way, right? I mean,
a lot of people got it. Well, I would say the first Smash introduced a lot of people to Metroid because Samus was in it, and you're like, what?
Yeah.
NES.
Yeah.
Earthbound, because Earthbound was not something that was popular in the West,
right? And like, I think it introduced a lot of people to the idea of Mother 3, right? Because
and it's to the point that it's taken on just like this mythological, like, I don't know, idea amongst Western gamers. It's like it's that white whale that we're just constantly chasing and like won't get.
Yeah.
The minute they release that, you like, I know it probably won't be like this incredible like $5-6 million selling game. Or a 5-6 million copy selling game, but like that legitimately I think would just like break the Nintendo fan base in the most beautiful way.
Right.
If they just announced a localization of Mother 3.
Right.
I think that's why it's such a big deal that Nintendo, it's like, to me, it's a matter of time, right? Because Nintendo has shown a willingness to go back to older games and update them to bring them over. We've seen that with some of the NSO games. I just brought the original Fire Emblem game, Shadow Dragon and the Blade of Light, like the original version of that, not the 3DS version, the original version of that game was brought over to the Switch. It was like $5. I bought it, of course, because I'm me. Yeah. And just, oh man, if you're not used to playing games from the late 80s, oh boy.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
You're in for a treat.
You are in for an absolute treat. But that was such a treat dropping during COVID.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yep. So I'm looking at the roster right now.
There's so much. Like Smash, like again, like not to get off on this tangent, Smash has done so much for like preserving game history that I don't think we quite appreciate.
Yeah.
Like, there are entire audiences, I think, that, especially when you get to, like, Smash Ultimate, if it's a kid playing Smash Ultimate who's like, who is Mega Man?
Yeah.
You know? Like, everybody knows Pac-Man, but, like, when's the last time you got a good Pac-Man game, right? Little Mac. Little Mac is one I think of.
Yeah.
Like, Little Mac, Captain Falcon, obviously, the further we get away from GX, the more, you know, Captain Falcon becomes relevant in something like that.
Yeah.
Yep. So I say all that to say that if Sakurai is going to give me characters like that, you know, bring in the Belmonts and things of that nature, I'm cool with it. just, give me like a beloved franchise character for every Fire Emblem, or now I'm sure Kirby Air Rider's character you're going to put in the game.
Yeah.
Right? So.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, in terms of games from that era, man, I don't know if I could think of anything better. I know a lot of people wanted Paper Mario, right? And that came out. A lot of people want. I mean, I think a lot of people are still hoping for the Wind Waker and the Twilight Princess thing, one of those games to come out. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of. I mean, Night Dive just came out last week and said they wanted to remaster Eternal Darkness. Who knows how?
Ooh, God, man! So I go back and forth on this because I've also said I would do unspeakable things for Eternal Darkness. The original Silicon Knights team, like Silicon Knights as a studio, doesn't exist anymore. And yeah, I know. That's a franchise because it was a hard M. I feel like Nintendo's just not going to touch it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I say that, and Famicom Detective Club was, a cult hit last year. So what do I know?
Yeah. Plus, like you get a studio like Night Dive who can actually go in there and actually redo it in a way that makes sense, right? Like because they've done a good job with Turok and what was the one they just did? System Shock 1 remake was pretty good, and they just did that Hexen collection for Microsoft. So like, yeah, I think Night Dive does a pretty decent job in kind of preserving the retro style while also making it feel modern. I don't know. I think they could do a decent job.
We just got the re-release of Advance Wars. I love Advance Wars. Advance Wars probably would have been on the list. And I feel like you're not going to see a new Advance Wars just given the everything.
Yeah. I mean, from what I know, that game was, people liked it. It sold decently.
It definitely did. Something I would like to see. I know we're getting Rhythm Heaven next year. Can we get a new Elite Beat Agents?
Oh my gosh, I feel like Ed is here. He loves Elite Beat.
I'm a sucker for a good rhythm game, and I just feel like that would be, again, like a lot of these are like not a lot of these, but like Wave Race, Elite Beat Agents. These are games that I feel you could do a new installment for like $20 to gauge interest.
Yeah.
So I don't know. They're bringing back one of the games that I like. I believe, aren't they bringing back Room 215? Aren't they bringing back Hotel Dusk sometime soon? Or am I thinking of a different game?
I feel like they were doing like because there's 3 of those games, right? I feel like they're doing.
No, I'm thinking of something different. I think I'm thinking of a different game. God, now it's going to bother me that I can't remember what I'm thinking of. But it was on the DS.
Was it Layers of Fear?
A horror game. What?
Was it Layers of Fear?
No. Trace Memory? Is that what I'm thinking of?
Hotel Dusk Room 215? Let's see.
Yeah, Another Code. That's what I was thinking of.
Oh, Another Code. They just released that collection.
Yeah, I need to go pick it up. I really like that game back in the day. That would be one like I'd love to see, just another style like that. A game, something similar to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Recollection. That's what it was. I didn't know that came out a couple years ago. I did not pick it up.
Yeah.
I really need to.
Better pick it up soon if you're going to. I mean, that feels like one of those games where in like 2 years it's going to shoot up in price just because it's a Nintendo game, right? Like,
and it's like such an obscure franchise.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
that's right.
Good times, huh?
God, it's still a $60 game.
Yeah. Yeah, it's still a $60 game. 2 of them actually, technically, but
it's crazy to me.
Nintendo, right, dude.
Where to now, Corey?
All right,
now that I've deviated us for 30 minutes.
Let's actually, start the show. Okay. All right. This is, in case you guys were wondering or didn't know, this is Nintendo Pow Block, the Nintendo podcast here for Boss Rush Media and the Boss Rush Network. We record every episode. Most of the time we record live on YouTube, Twitch, and the platform formerly known as Twitter. We are not live tonight because PAX is going on, and well, people are paxing it up, so we're not live. If you'd like to support Nintendo Pow Block and the Boss Rush Network, you can do so on Patreon, patreon.com/Boss Rush Network, or for as little as $1 a month, you can get early access to expansion pass episodes, book club, audio versions of spoiler casts and review discussions, exclusive content, and more. Patreon.com/Boss Rush Network. You can support us at a tier that's right for you, but if you can't support us financially, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Boss Rush Network. Watch all of our videos there. Remember to like the video, leave a comment, hit the bell so you don't miss an episode, all that YouTube-y word stuff. You can also listen on your favorite podcast app. Wherever you listen, leave us a 5-star rating and a nice review. Also, you can find all of our content, including daily banter pieces, listicles, podcast episodes, news, and more on bossrush.net. All right, Josh. We're going to get into this non-gaming segment that we like to call Snacktendo. Have you been snacking on anything lately? Anything interesting? Anything fun?
Man, anything interesting? No, because I'm like trying to eat better. I've been eating. I get a really bad sweet tooth at night, so I've been eating a lot of ice cream lately. But I've been like trying to find healthier alternatives to ice cream. So I've been eating like ice cream with like a Greek yogurt base.
Ooh.
Been eating a lot of Yasso. That's a really good one. I get these little poppables they have. They're like frozen, like vanilla Greek yogurt with chocolate on the outside. I've been eating those. That's literally making my mouth water thinking about it. And I like to go. I like to go to the Asian grocers by us and buy milk bread. Ooh. It's not really a snack, but I like it because it's it's just like a little sweet bread. It's very soft and fluffy if you get it done right. There's this awesome Japanese sandwich shop. If anybody's ever in Dallas, there's this awesome like authentic sando shop in downtown that I like to go to every so often, Sandoichi, and it's incredible, absolutely incredible. Like I would rather go spend $10-11 on a meal there than in a drive-through. But they make it like authentic, like house made milk bread, and it's like they do strawberry sandos, they do chicken cutlet ones, they do kiwi ones, like they have a seasonal menu, like those are just ones they have all the time. It's awesome. I love going there. In fact, I'm talking about so much we may go there for lunch tomorrow if it's not raining again. So
nice.
Yes. Nice. I'm trying to be cultured. And all it is just giving me incredible food.
Oh, yeah.
Sandwiches, man. I had to talk about sandwiches.
I mean, we are the sandwich casuals.
We are the sandwich casuals.
That's our non-existent sandwich podcast that only...
Hey, Earl of Sandwich follows us. So
I know. I was going to say that only records on site at Earl of Sandwich, which is why we don't have episodes. Let's see here. So like I told you before the recording, my wife made me interact with real humans today. We went to one of her friend's house for dinner. So they grilled up some burgers and steamed some broccoli and some, that kind of stuff. But they also, Josh, made French onion rice.
French onion rice.
Yeah. And let me tell you.
Interesting.
Let me tell you. I'm not a rice person. I really don't like rice except for like Spanish rice and, maybe some hibachi rice here and there, right?
Yeah.
But man, So they gave me the recipe. It is 1 cup of, or 1 can of French onion soup, 1 can of beef broth, white rice, and like a quarter of a stick of butter. And you mix it all together and stick it in the oven for 40 minutes. Dude, it was like one of the best things I've ever eaten. It was awesome.
Yeah, I eat rice like 3 times a week, probably. I get these bowls of sticky rice that you just have to pop in the microwave from Costco, and I'll have like half of it with my dinner and throw the other half in with my leftovers for lunch. But yeah, I love doing that with, like, make some chicken teriyaki at home and just put it on a bed of sticky white rice. I'm also really lazy. I don't like cooking rice itself. I know it's easy to do. I just don't like doing it.
Yeah.
So much so to the point that I like emphasize to anyone listening, like, for Christmas, please buy me a rice cooker. And please, actually, a useless kitchen gadget that I will actually use a substantial amount.
Yeah.
Because I like rice, man. I really like rice.
A lot of people do. I'm just weird, Josh.
I grew up eating it a lot. Rice and beans were very common in my house.
Yeah, but you also live in Texas. That's probably...
Yeah, it wasn't like Texas style though. we ate a lot. I ate a lot of Spanish rice growing up. Chicken rice. Like, funny enough, white rice actually was not super common in my house. I grew up with my grandparents. They always made like the like wild rice and stuff with like grains, and I thought that stuff was awful. And I think that's why I didn't really appreciate like rice until I started eating a lot of like Chinese and hibachi and stuff in high school. I'd go to lunch with my friends and be like, "Oh my god, like, this is awesome." They're like, "Yeah, you've never had this before." I'm like, "No, I didn't grow up eating this." Like, if I have rice, it's like in red beans and rice, or that's like the most like culturally diverse rice that my parents give me. It's like, Cajun style is as close as we get. So,
yeah,
rice casuals.
Jeez, too many casual.
Too many casuals. We're casual about too many things.
Oh boy. Other than that, my daughter made brownies. They're pretty good. With the help of my wife, of course. We didn't just let a 7.
I was going to say, like, are they actual brownies or are these like the easy bake oven?
No, these were actual brownies. My wife helped her do some of the hard parts, but they were pretty good. They were that, like, the boxed brownies with like the chocolate chips in it, and you kind of just add the ingredients to the whatever's in the packet. Gotta say, Josh, pretty good,
he says.
Pretty good. And they didn't like cook them long enough on purpose, so they're nice and gooey inside. That's one of the best.
That's what you got to do.
Yeah. So, all right. Enough about talking about food. Let's talk about games. Josh, before we get into family news, what are you playing? Anything interesting? Anything cool? Anything fun?
Not really. I've just been like kind of heads down on work the last couple of weeks. I did finally fire up. I say finally. It came out like 3 days ago. Fired up Gears Reloaded last night. Played a little bit of that. It's great. And tune in next Xbox Casuals to hear me talk about that. I continue to play Grounded 2. Really enjoying that. As much as I don't like survival games, I'm really digging Grounded 2. I'm just like, as much as I like it, I'm trying to pace myself with it being early access since they've already published the first year content roadmap. I kind of like am in the wait and see for the next big update to go in and play some more. Just to not burn myself out. I did that with Grounded 1. I burned myself out on the initial early access release and just never really consistently got back to it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So and this game is like oppressively big already. So
yeah, I feel like that's kind of one of the negatives about early access is like sometimes you get so into it that by the time the 1.0 release comes out, you're just kind of done.
Yeah, but also like I look at it as, man, I had so much fun with this and I helped the developers like get the money to finish their vision.
Yeah.
So obviously, like, something like Grounded being backed by a $1 trillion company is a little bit different, and it's on Game Pass, and Game Pass is phenomenal thing. But mainly, I'm just kind of like in a holding pattern. This week's going to be a big week for games for me. Indiana Jones and the Great Circles DLC comes out, and a little under the radar game called Hollow Knight Silk Song is releasing this week. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, Corey.
I've heard people speak of this game.
I'm extremely excited. I'm not one of the like crazies online about this game, but I have been looking forward to it for quite a while. So I look forward to picking it up. It's the rare indie that is coming to Game Pass right away that I will probably just buy without it being on sale to support Team Cherry. Especially if GameStop's leaked price about this is true and it's only $19.99. I will absolutely pick this up.
Yeah, it's listed on the. I think it's listed on the eShop at $19.99.
Oh, okay. Part of me wants to hold out because they did do physical versions like pretty widely for the first Hollow Knight. Kind of want to hold out and get one, buy just a physical copy of Silk Song. But yeah, no, I'm just kind of in a holding pattern right now. In a holding pattern.
That's fair. That's fair. As for me, Josh, I've been also head down and work for what feels like
an eternity.
Yes. But I am playing a little bit of. I'm trying to get through Final Fantasy VII. That's kind of like game 1A for me.
The original Final Fantasy VII, right? Not the remake.
No, the original. Yeah.
Got you.
I'm in Fort Condor. I don't really know how much further I have. Here's the thing, though. I did turn on because I want to get through it. So I put on the cheater modes on it, like infinite. What do you call it? Limit break and infinite, or essentially like I'm invincible. Not quite invincible, but essentially invincible. So I did put those cheats on so I could fly through it because I don't know, Josh. I don't know if you knew this, but games in the PS1 era, JRPGs in particular, very grindy. You got to grind it out.
You do, in fact, have to grind it out.
So, I also am playing Gears of War Reloaded. It sure is Gears, man. Sure is Gears. Let me tell you. Man, there's so much I love about that game, and so much I'm just like, man, I just want a new one already. I'm kind of tired of playing the first one again. This third re-release. But hey, it's a fun little romp. I would say, if you have Game Pass or you have $40 burning a hole in your pocket, it's a good time.
Yeah, I mean, and there's also there's nothing wrong with waiting for a sale on a re-released game.
Yeah,
I'll put it this way: I feel way less bad about waiting for sales on major franchise games than I do about something that may not exist. Not even just games from smaller companies, but smaller efforts from those big companies. That's why I went out of my way to make sure that I purchased Pentiment, for example. From Obsidian, was make sure that they knew hey, I'm willing to pay for this.
Yeah.
That's why I make sure that I buy anything from Atlas pretty much right away. I love Atlas. I know those games those games sell fine for them. They sell very good for them actually, especially if you look at Persona 5. But that's why I had no problems with buying Metaphor. It went on sale 2 months later. Whatever. It was my game of the year. Who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares? Yeah. I liked it so much I bought it a second time physically. So
yeah, I mean, look, people can do with their money what they want. You can wait. You can buy it.
We've always been a proponent of vote with your wallet.
Yeah. So
I will say, as much as I'm not playing games, I have been playing a lot of Magic with my friends lately.
Ooh.
This is relevant to Nintendo Pow Block. I picked up a Sonic the Hedgehog card today. If you're watching on video.
This is not Sega Pow Block, Josh.
Yeah, I got a I got a Sonic. I kind of consider Sonic an honorary Nintendo character at this point.
I'm just kidding.
I picked it up out of the Sonic the Hedgehog secret layer. They had it for $250 at my shop. I had to get it.
Mm-hmm.
I had to get it. I love creatures like that, so I play a lot of red white. I know that he's blue, but I play a lot of red and white. I am looking forward to getting the whole crew. I probably will just cave and buy the secret layer and let my partner have this one. But yeah,
you will. I know you, Josh.
I will. I probably will. It just hopefully won't be anytime soon because I've spent so much on cards this summer. The Final Fantasy set has ruined me financially.
I mean, yeah. I mean that's a set everybody really wants, right? I mean that kind of. I don't think I've seen Magic cards blow up like that in a long time once that set came out. Like,
yeah, it was like Magic definitely is popular. Like Lord of the Rings was huge for them a couple years ago.
Mm-hmm. That was probably the last time that I thought that game was like huge, was when the Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings. So Lord of the Rings was the best selling set of all time for them, obviously, until Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy outsold it in pre-sales. But they did Final Fantasy, or they did Lord of the Rings, Warhammer. They did some Transformers cards were put into one of the sets.
Mm.
I have a Megatron, funny enough. I just picked up Megatron a couple weeks ago. They did some Jurassic World ones. They did some Godzilla ones. And then they started doing like actual full-on Universes Beyond sets. They did Assassin's Creed last year, which, depending on how you feel about Assassin's Creed, was either really cool or really stupid. They did the Fallout. The Fallout decks were awesome. They were kind of each themed to, not necessarily to a game, but they were themed to like, science or, like Caesar's Legion, Mothman. So like more creature based from Appalachia and stuff like that. Like I felt like they generally had one for each game.
Yeah.
They've done Doctor Who. And then this year it's just gone pedal to the metal with with Final Fantasy. Spider-Man comes out in a couple weeks, Avatar The Last Airbender, and of course, all the secret layers have just gone stupid.
Yeah, I assume Spider-Man will be pretty big.
So funny enough, Spider-Man is actually like it's gonna be big because it's the first Universes Beyond set after the insanity that was Final Fantasy. I mean, people were selling Final Fantasy collector boosters for like $130, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're not going to make your value back on that unless you happen to pull a chocobo, and the odds of that happening is slim to fucking none.
Mm-hmm.
So I do wonder what that's going to look like, especially like as someone who's like started to like dabble in the retro gaming market a tiny bit, trying to get some of the old collector's editions I never had as a kid. I am starting to realize like how expensive certain things can be if you just sit on them sealed.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see how that is. Every LGS around me is like bracing for impact with Avatar, though. That's the one they're scared of because that's one that fits Magic more traditionally than Spider-Man. And it's a set that is clearly aimed at everyone. Like there are a lot of products to get kids and families into playing that are coming out with it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like their core set for the year, which is really an interesting approach. So I'm very, very fascinated to see how it plays out and how expensive this is going to be for me.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm prepared to drop a disgusting amount of money on Spider-Man and Avatar cards.
Yeah, I can. I figured you would probably drop at least something on the Avatar ones.
Avatar, yeah. I wasn't sold on Spider-Man until I saw the previews yesterday and was like, all right, I'm a little interested now. Because I think they had some stuff going on at PAX revealing them.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's not great. They're doing previews all next week. Avatar and the Avatar will destroy me.
Yeah. Apparently there's PAX exclusive, not Magic cards, but just cards in general for Expedition 33. I made Ed stand line for me because I'm not there.
That's funny. I'm like begging anyone who's going to Newark Comic-Con to get me the J. Jonah Jameson promo card that they're doing for Spider-Man.
Oh man.
Oh, I'm like, he's not in the set. He's a promo card. Somebody get me J. Jonah Jameson. Man. They did Doctor Strange last year as a counter spell, and that was a really cool card.
Oh, that's cool.
like a $500 card.
Jeez.
It's a reprint. I'm like,
God.
Jesus, can somebody give me the J. Jonah Jameson before it's that expensive too? Please? Please?
Oh man.
Enough about cardboard though.
I mean, sure. Yeah. Also, Josh, before we get into anything else, I'm only seven unlocks away from the Green Ranger in Fortnite, Josh. I know how much you care about Power Rangers.
Like 80 away. I got the Halo stuff and dipped.
But you know what they did show this week finally is the secondary skin for the Megazord skin.
Yeah, it's the golden one, right?
Yeah, it's the golden black one, which is not canon in Power Rangers, but it is now officially canon in Super Sentai. Which is
you said a bunch of things I don't know.
What is
a Sentai?
Super Sentai is the Japanese version of Power Rangers. It's the original show that Power Rangers ripped off. Essentially, they use footage from Super Sentai in the Power Rangers episodes.
Got you.
Like anything with the fighting robots or the monsters or anything is from Super Sentai, and then everything that's like obviously American is American, but basically they merged the footage to create Power Rangers. In the early 90s, which Super Sentai has been going on since like the mid 70s. So, which is also how we got VR Troopers, Mach Rider.
I know Kamen Rider.
Big Bad Beetleborgs. Yeah.
Corey, I love that you are like so dialed in on the live action martial arts shows.
Yeah. You're welcome, everybody.
I know approximately like 2 eras of Power Rangers. I know a little bit about Mighty Morphin. I watched the entirety of Time Force.
Oh boy, that's the other one everybody loves.
Dude, listen, I watched Time Force because I was not allowed to watch Power Rangers as a kid, but I could get away with watching Time Force specifically because it came on like right between Digimon and Yu-Gi-Oh! So I could kind of get away with it with my parents. And because of that, I literally only know Time Force. I tried watching, what was it? Like, I think Wild Force and like Dino Thunder came after that. I tried watching those. That just didn't hit the same. I thought it was dumb. I was like, we just went from futuristic space cops to this. Pass.
Dino Thunder was incredibly popular because they brought Tommy back, which was the original Green Ranger.
Sure.
He's the Black Ranger in Dino Thunder.
Sure.
So that was incredibly popular. And then, I've been watching through different versions of it with my son because he's really
Megazords were cool, but they were no Metabots.
I mean, come on, man. You don't. You know what was really dumb though, Josh? Here's where I dipped. Okay, I watched Mighty Morphin. Right, I was like, okay, and they got like 4 different Megazords through that. They had the Dino, what they call the Dino Megazord now, which is just like, it was just called the Megazord. Everybody, nobody calls it the Dino Megazord. Losers. Then there was the Thunder Megazord, which looked like a giant samurai robot, which was cool. He had a big samurai sword that he pulled out from this. Nobody knows where the Seath came from, Josh. He just whipped it out and was like, throwing lightning with this giant samurai sword. And then we got the Ninja Megazord, which kind of sucked. But then we got the Shogun Megazord, which was super cool. And those were technically the Alien Rangers Megazords. Okay. But then when Lord Zed and Rita blew up the command center, they had to find the Zeo crystals, and then we got the Zeo Megazord. Okay. But here's where I dipped. Okay. Because we had like samurais, ninjas, dinosaurs. Then we get the Power Rangers Turbo, Josh. Okay, you know what Power Rangers Turbo was?
No.
All right, everybody. I know this is Nintendo Pow Block, but excuse my language.
God,
fucking race cars. How do you go from dinosaurs, ninjas, and space cops to race cars, Josh?
And
then they
I couldn't begin to tell you, brother.
And then they replace a teenage adult, essentially like a early 20s adult, with a 12-year-old kid as the Blue Ranger. Okay. That's where I dipped. I was like, I'm done. Can't do this. Can't watch a kid race cars. Okay. Anyways, that was my Power Rangers rant, everybody. But when I saw this meme, I was like, man, I wish Josh was in the Power Rangers because he would totally laugh at this, and he's the only person that would laugh at it because it's I have Power Rangers at home starter pack. It's got all like the other Super Sentai shows that they brought over that weren't Power Rangers, but they were all part of the Super Sentai show. So I don't know. I wish you were into Power Rangers because then you would.
It wasn't for me.
Nope.
And I think it's because I didn't grow up with it.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine.
Outside of Time Force, my parents swear that I loved watching it at daycare. Like the daycare people would be like, "Man, he really likes Power Rangers," and I think it was purely because I couldn't watch it at home.
Well,
alas, yeah, we're not going to let him watch Power Rangers, but we're going to let him watch like everything else that's melting his brain. Okay,
yeah,
sure.
Yep.
So an hour into the show, should we get into video?
Yeah. Did you pick anything up this week, Josh? Any cool games you pick up?
No,
week?
I've picked up nothing. My pickups were Magic cards. Those are my games I picked up.
Yeah, that's fair. I didn't really pick anything up either. So, all right, Josh, now that we're 56 and a half minutes into the show.
Sorry, everyone. This is what happens when I come on and Ed's not here to get me back on track.
I mean, let's be honest. We would still be going with Ed here. All right. Our last episode was 2 hours and 38 minutes. So, and the first hour was absolutely nothing. So let's get into Fammy news, everybody. Let's talk about what's going on in the world of Nintendo. Except for this first story, Ed, Josh. Jeez.
The world of Nintendo, except this first story.
And then I called you Ed, so this is all...
I just was going to breeze right past that.
Yeah, that's fine. Nintendo Switch, you've heard of this device, right, Josh? Nintendo Switch?
Yeah, I've heard of it. Great home console for the family.
Sony reportedly developing PlayStation 6 handheld with a Switch-style docking system.
What?
We just talked about this on Xbox Casuals a little bit. Sony is reportedly planning a PlayStation 6 handheld that could dock like a Nintendo Switch, capable of running games at higher performance than the base PS5 when connected to a TV. What? According to leaks from Moore's Law is Dead, the handheld will feature an AMD APU with 4 Zen 6C cores, a 16 CU RDNA 5 GPU, and expected to retail for about $500 with a late 2027 launch. The device could release alongside a traditional PS6 home console, making Sony's first native gaming handheld since the Vita in 2011, followed by the Portal accessory in 2023. Josh, we talked a little bit about this because obviously on Xbox Casuals, we've been talking about the ROG Xbox Ally. How would you feel about a Sony device that's actually a PlayStation?
I mean, listen, if they do something that is an answer to the Switch 2 and it can actually run PlayStation games like suitably, then I would get it. But Sony has really gone into this, not niche, but they've really gone into this mode over the last decade of, we want our games to be the best looking first party games out there. We want to maximize the tech specs in our system. We want our system to be the highest end thing. Like, I mean, the PS5 Pro just came out and it's $750 now after the price increase. I find it extremely unlikely that this thing is going to be $500. I find that that is the most unbelievable. Like, none of the tech specs like actually surprise me that much. Like, yeah, in 2 years I could see that being something. I don't see a device like that costing $500 though. So Sony would have to eat so much of the cost. I just don't think they're going to be willing to do that. Nobody knows what the economic impacts are going to be by that point either. Like, I don't see that being a feasible solution. I know that the low end Ally X right now is $550. That's kind of what I'm going off of. This would be something that would be more targeting the higher end Ally X. And I know that like over time components become cheaper and whatnot, but the other part of this that I find really hard to believe is that Sony is gonna like take a 3 SKU approach, which is something else that Moore has been saying. That there's gonna be the premium home console, right? There's going to be the Switch style system, and then there's going to be a dedicated only handheld system. That's the one I could see costing $500. The handheld only.
Yeah.
But I don't know how you do this when games are getting more and more expensive. Gamers want the best looking, best optimized versions of games. You're going to have to create parity between, you're going to have the same experience across the board. Like Sony's going to dictate that, and for good reason. Like we've heard nothing but, shit all year about, or all decade about how Microsoft has a parity clause between the X and S. Like, yeah, this is why, like, they're now they've gotten you into the idea of something has to be able to run on both a powerful and not as powerful piece of hardware.
Plus Sony just had that update, that eco-friendly update that actually, this software wise downgraded to essentially a Series S, essentially.
So yeah, my read on everything that I've seen from what Morris said and everything, and this is all speculation. Like, it is worth noting he's been accurate in the past, specifically about the PS5 Pro, I believe. I'm still taking all this with a grain of salt, though, because I could see like the dedicated handheld only system costing you like $550. I could see that happening if it has the specs maybe slightly above what a Series S is now, because that would put you on par with the Switch 2.
Yeah,
but I don't see Sony releasing something that is, I don't want to say weak, but like, really, that's going to be a system you're going to sell for like 5-6 years, is something at that power in 2027. I'm not even trying to like bash the Switch here. I'm just, it works for Nintendo because they're Nintendo.
Yeah.
Sony wants to optimize the PS5 Pro and have a premium home console, but then supposedly have 2 different types of handhelds. I just don't see that. Something is not adding up here to me.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm calling bullshit. Because even if you do one that you can take on the go and portable and whatnot, like, sure, you can subsidize it, but I don't think you're not going to subsidize it enough to get it down to 500. You might subsidize it to get it to 700, or maybe you have 2 different SKUs of it. You do, and I mean, like that's where it gets complicated and whatnot. I don't see the average consumer or like parents going in to buy something for their kids, like being like, what? We thought there was just a PlayStation 6.
Yeah.
And then are you going to tell me that the home console, which is supposed to be your most powerful offering, is going to be more than the handheld version or cheaper than like, it just, things are not adding up for me right now.
Yeah.
You're going to get into a situation like the Ally X.
I also wonder how much it will rely on the PSSR or whatever the next version of it is, or whatever the AI stuff that AMD is doing, right? Because I know PlayStation is leaning heavily into the, well, not heavily, but somewhat more into the AI generation space than the PS5 Pro does.
And I mean, I feel like we should say right here, like, this is the kind of AI that is like good. Okay, like AI when used for computing and whatnot can be good.
Yeah,
this is not generating content. This is not, talking to you and stuff. This is like generative AI like this has been used to help with workflows and power consumption stuff for years and years and years.
Yeah, and it's stuff that you kind of see already in the PS5 Pro also. So it's and so like if that kind of AI can save you on specific components, right? Theoretically, I could see that bringing the price down a little bit, but also like the PS5 Pro is $750 now. I can't see the next console costing less than the current console.
That's the other thing. Like, you're going to tell me this is going to be $250 less than what the PS5 Pro is right now? Okay, bro. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, the pricing is that's the thing that's just making me call bull on this, and I'll happily eat my words in 2 years.
Yeah, and admittedly, Moore's Law is Dead is a tech company. They're not a gaming
Sure,
company,
and
right?
that's
So,
fine. And like I said, like they have been accurate in the past.
yeah, and I was listening to the Broken Silicon podcast where he was talking about this, and like I think they're basing the price, how much the console could possibly be based on the components and how much they cost now versus how much they'll cost then, not based on Sony's traditional pricing structure. So I think maybe that plays a part in why this says $500 also, but I don't consume enough Moore's Law is Dead's content to know exactly how to track how they're thinking, right? I don't know. It's interesting. I think just from an ecosystem standpoint, I think this is probably the smart thing for PlayStation to do, which we know that Xbox is not exactly doing this, at least at the moment, right? With the ROG Ally X and the PC handheld space. But I think Nintendo could be challenged in this space if this thing is real and this is what's in it. Because like you said, people want the most powerful, most especially the hardcore want that. I mean, we're going to be talking later about frame rates and stuff and how some third-party games are already struggling, which there's reasons why, but we'll talk about it then. People don't want to struggle with that, right? Hardcore gamers don't want to struggle with that. For the average gamer, it's fine, but the people who are going to buy this thing,
I would even say like average gamers are more aware of it than they ever have been, partially because of online discourse, but also like when we're so quick to freak out whenever there is, with good reason, whenever there is like performance issues and whatnot. Like I was talking about this on Xbox Casuals, but just as an example, I was playing the Battlefield 6 beta a couple weekends ago, and it was to a point where if an explosion happened near me, I had to brace for my console to shut off. That was a real thing that was happening. It was shutting my console off because there was such a big bug in the beta build itself. Yeah. And it, to my knowledge, has not been addressed by DICE at all. Yeah. Like, things like that are insane. Like, when I look at a device like this and I see these kinds of specs, I think to myself, okay, maybe they're trying to target the on-the-go gamer. Like, this would be a way to help them get their foothold back in Japan, but it's not going to do you any good if the performance isn't there. And then how do you justify selling this big premium system and this and that? Like, I think a lot of gamers, especially as we go forward, are really going to be shifting. If they want that premium experience, are not going to be buying a console. They're going to be shifting to PC. So from that end, I could see this being a good companion device. If you don't want to wait to play those PlayStation games, like whenever they come, it seems like really only the multiplayer games are going to come to PC day one for right now. I think that's going to also have to change. And if that changes, I think Sony also knows, like, if that changes, this is kind of them trying to future-proof themselves. And be like, well, if you want the premium versions of a game, probably after the next generation, probably to PlayStation 6, if you want a premium version of the game, you want the best performance, go build a PC. Otherwise, we're going to do these like hybrid, consoles. People are, how many people in their 20s and 30s are having to move back in with their parents because of the economy, right? Yeah. I think that this is keeping that in mind. It's keeping their European and Japanese audiences in mind.
That's the big thing for me is like, I mean, the Switch 2 is killing in Japan and PS5 is not selling anything because it's not captivating the audience. They can't take it with them, right? I think this handheld device is trying to get back into the home market and try to at least be competitive.
It's that and like Japanese homes, again, we had a really long discussion about this, so I don't want to retread like old territory, but like in Japan, your living space is like a third of what you have in the typical American home. Like my 2-bedroom apartment is the size of like the average Japanese home. Yeah. So how are you expecting to have that? And like, that means like, kids can go play this in their room and this and that. Like, you can take it on the train and you can you can take it to the office. You can do things like that. And we've hit a plateau in terms of graphics and graphical power, I feel. Making games that can run on things like the Ally X, the Switch 2, etc., I think you're going to see more and more like, and I really do think that that's what the Series S kind of forced companies to do is, well, you just don't automatically go for the biggest one. No, you got to remember there's ones behind. And I think that is benefiting the Switch 2 because the Switch 2 and the Series S have very similar specs, similar specs.
Yeah.
And so if something runs well on my Series S, I'm kind of assuming, well, I'll probably get a somewhat comparable version of that when docked with my Switch 2.
Yeah.
That's the biggest change I think the Switch 2 did was having that extra firepower with the dock this time.
Yeah.
And not just, oh, we're going to upres from 720 to 1080. Like, no, there's like an actual fan built into this and stuff.
Yep.
So I do like that aspect of it. And I think that's, and obviously we'll hit that in a future story. But yeah, that's, if I look at something like that, I could see this being a thing. And, hey, maybe components are just cheaper by then. Whatever. I think trying to predict anything 2 years out is fool's gold. Look at what we tried to do with the original Series X and Series S announcements, right? Like we were trying for 2 years to track down these rumors and everything else. Nobody could have guessed how that was going to go.
And like also a couple years ago, like when the FTC leaked the Xbox quote unquote roadmap, that circular Xbox Series X Pro or whatever it was, and the controller with like the white top and the black bottom, like being that controller with the haptics in it, and I don't know, man. There's a lot that never came to fruition.
And I mean, like, roadmaps change, things change. That's the most important thing. Like, look how long we were waiting for the Switch 2.
I know. I had developers at PAX East last year, PAX East in March, saying that they were supposed to have dev kits for the Switch 2 already.
Well, does that lead us into our next story then?
Yeah, I mean, let's just jump right into it. Developers are reportedly struggling to obtain Switch 2 development kits, unless you're that weird campfire game that they showed off. With some being told to release their games on the original Switch and they can rely on backwards compatibility instead. That's gross.
Yeah.
Digital Foundry hosts noted that this has led to very few third-party Switch 2 specific editions post-launch, despite developers' interest in supporting the new hardware. The situation has created confusion as some indie studios have received kits while larger developers have not, slowing the adoption of true Switch 2 editions. I also heard that Digital Extremes, the developer behind Warframe, has been begging Nintendo for a Switch 2 dev kit because they want to get Warframe on the Switch 2 and they can't.
I just don't understand. This should have been the biggest, easiest PR layup in Nintendo history.
Yeah.
With how long you took to release this thing. Everything around the Switch 2 launch has just been baffling to me.
It's a weird one. It's weird.
It's a very weird one. No dev kits, no software. Like, the only thing that's keeping us from putting this in Series X conversations is the fact that you had Mario Kart World and not Gears Tactics as your sole launch title.
I mean, Gears Tactics, Josh. It's a gem of a game.
I love Gears Tactics, but as your sole launch game, like, there's a difference when it's Mario Kart World. Like,
I know.
But even that, I feel like I would have felt better about this launch if Donkey Kong Bonanza had been their day one.
Yeah.
That coming out like 6-7 weeks later is just baffling to me. Why not just hold the console until Bonanza is done then? You could have had a launch that had those two games, the Welcome Tour, which should have been a pack-in, and Drag X Drive, and I think we all would have gone like, oh, okay, that was a fine launch. That was fine.
Yeah,
cool.
I'm just
like, it would have. You could maybe put the Kirby or the Mario Party DLC out at the same time. Like, you could have had a nice packed up launch and still had enough for the rest of the year. And instead, there's almost no third party games. There's very few outside of like Street Fighter.
Yeah, it's very clear who got dev kits and who didn't, right?
It's extremely clear.
Plus, like, I was looking at the Switch 1 like the first year of launch, right? And like, I think there wasn't as big of a spotlight on it because A, there wasn't any backwards compatibility, but B, like, nobody bought a Wii U and people thought the Switch was, people forget that the Switch people were questioning Nintendo's.
Nintendo had to win the trust back.
Yeah.
And that's my whole thing. Like, you look at the Switch 1 launch, and it launched with Breath of the Wild, right?
And that's it, though. That's it.
You had that, you had snipper clips, and that was about it.
Oh yeah, snipper clips was
and
awesome.
Let me tell you, it's a little bit different when you're launching with arguably the greatest game of all time versus, no offense to Mario Kart World. Like, there was a defined roadmap, though. Like, people understood, oh, well, Nintendo, and I see this same exact argument for the Switch too, and I get it. Most people are buying a Switch for the Nintendo games. But I think about those people who are buying it for their kids, and this is their kid's first console, and they want to play these games that they've seen, like even things that should just be like, I don't know, like layups.
Yeah.
Other games that are coming out. I don't understand why certain games are not available right away, or you don't have dev kits. Like, how are we not hearing about Switch 2 not even like upscale versions? How are we not hearing about Switch 2 versions of some of the bigger games coming later this year?
Right. Like, in my opinion, like anybody who put a game out on Switch 1 of any significance, like Hogwarts Legacy, for example, had a Switch 2 version at launch, and it was a $10 upgrade if you bought the Switch version.
Sure.
Like, more companies should be doing that. Like, if you had a game of any significance on Switch, you should have a dev kit and having a Switch 2 versions of your Switch games available just to have, right? Because you always want the best versions of your game out on the stores that they're available on. So I mean, it's just crazy that some of these developers do not have dev kits. I mean, obviously Square Enix does, Capcom, but like then you see companies like Konami not having one. Why doesn't Konami have one? They have Silent Hill F, they have Metal Gear, they have what they have something else coming out this year. Like, why don't they have one? If you're only aiming at Japanese companies, why don't they have them? Like Sega barely got one,
Well, and I think that goes into another conversation that we're about to have, which is the power of the console also, because there are a couple games that are just struggling. They're like we're hearing that they are absolutely abysmal to play on this console.
Yeah, but then you have something like Cyberpunk that runs relatively flawlessly on the console.
So my argument with Cyberpunk, and not to like be like, actually, Cyberpunk is also a 2020 game, and they have had 4 or 5 years to optimize it to work on something like the Series S. Like, we forget that Cyberpunk was a Xbox One and PS4 game technically. Like, if that game wasn't running at a stable 30 frames, I would have a lot more questions. So I would say, like, yeah, you've had time. Like, I think Cyberpunk is, and not to say that it's not still a graphically demanding game and performance demanding game, but we should feel good that a game like that can run as good as it does on a handheld. I think that's a good benchmark. But then it's like, that was a game that was, 5 years ago. For me, I think a better litmus test is going to be and it won't unfortunately be until next year, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, I think, is going to be a good litmus test. That is a game that will be a year and a half old when it comes out, and is a graphically demanding game.
Yeah. So I actually, just because of this show, I bought a bunch of games at launch for Switch 2 that weren't Nintendo games, right? So like I played about 10 hours of Cyberpunk on there. I need to get back to it, but I don't know if it ran perfectly fine for me for the 10 hours I played it. Street Fighter 6, it's a fighting game, right? I mean, there's not a lot there, right? Like, it's not like an open world game that you need to be running around in, but it still looks really good, and it runs at 60 frames a second, and it plays perfectly fine. Kunitsugami plays great. Again, not really an intensive game. And then you have stuff like Yakuza, which is essentially a PlayStation 3 game, right? Or what? It was remastered first for PS3, right? Because it came out on PS2. So like, and then obviously we have Final Fantasy VII coming up, which is a PS4 game, right? And Elden Ring, which is the one everybody's pointing at, also a PS4 game, right? And like,
yeah,
and we'll talk about it a little bit later, but like Elden Ring, like the best way to play that is the PS4 version on the PS5, essentially. Or that was at least the thing at launch and the months afterwards. Right?
It's significantly better. So.
Right. But that just kind of set, From Software, as great as their games are, like, aren't exactly known for their technical perfection.
No, but I do think that is like, I think if you can get things like that and Cyberpunk running well on this console, that's a very important step. Because yes, those are games that are a few years old and had PS4 versions, were primarily developed on that, and then had better versions made in development for. It's always easier to bring something up rather than bring it back, right? I think those are like also like very interesting scenarios. Like I'm looking through a quick list of like things that have been announced, and the big benchmark games for me that I think are going to be demanding games are Borderlands 4. Can't wait to talk about that here in a few minutes. Star Wars Outlaws comes out this week.
That's the one to me that's like,
both, because that game had performance issues on the Series X and PS5.
Yeah,
like so bad that I stopped playing. Those two, 007 and Indiana Jones. Like, so you got 4 games I think that are really gonna help establish what can this console do. And it's good that these bigger publishers, with the exception of IO, are willing to take the hit here and take one for the team to figure out what works and what doesn't. What is the benchmark on this console? Because it's not just, can it perform well on the console? It's, do we have to play this docked if you have to play it docked in order to get a decent experience on the Switch 2, then there is a problem, in my opinion.
Yeah, because I would argue the version you want this to run well at is handheld mode, right?
Yes.
Like that's where you want to kind of prioritize your resources,
and then the dock mode is like stable frame rate and not a lot of pop in on a handheld.
Yeah,
as opposed to the docked version.
I also want to mention too, like, we talked a little bit about this on Xbox Casuals as well, but like, the Switch 2 is not built on the x86 architecture. It's built on a custom mobile mixed with ARM tech, which is also, it's essentially like, you look at games, like developers trying to develop games for Mac and they run like garbage, right? It's kind of, I don't want to say it's the same thing, but it's like a similar idea, right? Where like, it's not the architecture you're used to developing for across PC and the other two platforms, that like, it's going to be a challenge for some, especially if you don't develop for ARM all that much. It also depends on who's porting these games too, right? Like, Virtuous is probably the company porting Elden Ring to Switch 2, because they're the ones that ported Dark Souls Remastered to Switch 1, and it took them an extra 8 or 10 months to develop it for Switch 1, Dark Souls Remastered. So I think that has a lot to do with it too, is just ARM and mobile technology is a lot harder to develop down to, right? Like you said, you're already porting down, plus you got to port to a different style of architecture that, like, it's going to be hard for some people. But
yeah, it's going to be hard for a lot of companies. I'm very interested to see, and I think that's why it's good that like Microsoft is willing to take the hit there. With Indiana Jones is an interesting one to go with. I would not have pegged that as one. I would have pegged Doom to Dark Ages personally,
which will come eventually, I bet. I mean, I think that's a game that I think Nintendo wants to announce themselves, because they announced Doom and Wolfenstein for Switch 1.
I'm sure they do, but I think also like Microsoft wants to make sure that, like, hey, are we actually going to be able to put these games on there? Because I think that also helps their own handheld efforts.
Yeah.
So I'm very, very intrigued to see how this is going to go.
Yeah, some of these games are really...
I would assume if it becomes Ally X verified, it's probably going to come to the Switch 2.
Yeah.
Even though Switch... I will say that with a caveat. The Switch 2 does not have... I think the Switch 2 is almost comparable to the base Ally.
I think it's more base Ally than the Ally X.
Yeah, well, it's definitely not anywhere close to the $900 one.
No, that's what I'm saying.
But I think the 550 one, it's kind of in that same ballpark.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that's good news for Microsoft. Like, I would not be shocked to hear an announcement about Gears of War Reloaded coming over. I would not be shocked to hear about Doom the Dark Ages. South of Midnight, I think, would be a really good one for them to try to bring over. Towerborn would be a good, like, that's not a graphically intensive game. Remember what I'm saying? Grounded 2 will come eventually. Grounded 1 was a huge hit on Switch.
I mean, Nate the Hate claims that Starfield is coming to Switch too. But
that and it's funny because like Nate actually has like a pretty good track record.
I know, especially recently.
I find that one a little hard to believe, but I also believe that like Microsoft wants to get these on as many consoles as possible. I think they're probably looking at how Bethesda brought Skyrim over and, like you said, Doom and things like that, going like, oh, well, they can do this like without thinking. That did not have a Xbox One version. Series S version, I do not remember playing it on the Series S. My partner played it on the Series S, and I would need to ask her how that went. But I had enough problems on the Series X with that. I be prepared to play PowerPoint Simulator 2026.
Yeah. Plus,
and I think it's okay for us also to admit that some of these consoles cannot handle some of these games. The problem is when you just put out a console and you're starting to hit these roadblocks already. That's the problem. That was always our problem with the Switch, and we all rationalized it like, well, you know, you're buying this because, you know, you're mainly wanting it for Nintendo games.
Yeah.
And I still think that's true, but I think of like, for me, I think anything like something that's like rated T and below probably should run like pretty decently, because you're that's a family console. That's something that kids are going to be playing like a lot. So many kids got the Switch as their first console ever, especially the Switch Lite. That's going to repeat with the Switch 2 once people understand that there's a difference. But I've seen this comment from a lot of folks like, why should I need to go out and buy a Switch 2? There's nothing for me to go get. Like, they're not interested. Maybe they're interested in Mario Kart, but they're not interested in Donkey Kong. You know, yes, there are people that are not interested in a Game of the Year nominee. And they're like, Metroid doesn't really do anything for me. Like,
yeah,
Pokemon I can still play on the Switch 1. Even Metroid you'll be able to play on the Switch 1 if you were interested in that. Like, they're kind of waiting for like the next Animal Crossing at this point, or like the next mainline Pokemon that's going to force them to upgrade.
Yeah, and I heard a interesting thing. I was listening to Jeff Gerstmann talk about it, and he said he's heard from some developers that Nintendo is kind of like soft launching the Switch 2 this year, like essentially just getting the console out there and trying to get the word out about it, obviously. But then like they're just going to make a huge push for this console next year with a bunch of support from third party and first party development, which is like, okay, but then why are you launching the console this year? You know, like,
yeah,
I guess they have the benefit of the doubt because they're Nintendo and the Switch is popular, but like, I don't know. Even though this console has been delayed for so long, it also feels like it was rushed out, and there's not.
Yeah, just this whole launch has just been really weird, and I don't love it. Yeah, we had the delay of the pre-orders, we had the pricing delays. You know, we weren't hearing any of that. Like, that's obviously not Nintendo's fault, but it's just been like a perfect storm. The raising of the price on the Switch 1 also does not inspire confidence. That worries me for how this is going to be perceived like post-holiday, when the price hike is almost assuredly coming on January 2nd or something.
Yeah, I definitely think that's coming, and I think they raised the price on Switch 1 for two reasons. Obviously, the tariff stuff, you know, they couldn't raise the price on the Switch 2 because people who have been paying attention already know that they kind of already adjusted the price for the tariff stuff, right? Doug Bowser came out and said as much.
Yeah.
So like you can't raise it again when you
we've long thought that this was supposed to launch at like $400.
Yeah, which I think is what they wanted, right? A $399. That made a lot of sense.
I think packaging the world's most expensive game in with the console also for those launch bundles really helped the PR also.
Oh yeah.
Like, yeah. I mean, I was one of those who was like, well, I was just going to buy the console and skip Mario Kart. But if you're going to throw it in there for me paying $50 more instead of $80, sure, I'll do it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
And
so
I think they're being smart by packaging Pokemon in later on this year. For that being the holiday bundle is big.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah, especially with what they've shown off for it, right? Like it definitely seems like a more advanced version of Arceus, right? Like a more fleshed out.
To me, that's kind of how you counteract a lot of the tariff bull is just do bundles. Like you still get your money. I know you're losing that software sale potentially on Mario Kart or Pokemon or whatever they buy, but listen, you're gonna sell so many copies of Mario Kart over the lifetime of this console.
Mario Kart and Pokemon specifically are like two of their biggest games.
I'm not worried about it. I would not, from like a financial perspective, I'm not shedding any tears over Nintendo making that decision to include one of those with the console for like as long as this takes to resolve.
Yeah, especially because like Legends is specifically as a spinoff of the mainline game. So like if you're into Pokemon, you're going to get this bundle, and then you'll buy
like everyone that I've talked to who has like been hands-on with this, where has seen like something more than like the Pokemon Direct that we've gotten, has been like, yeah, no, this is like, I liked the first one, but this is a step up.
Yeah, I've heard that.
So like a massive step up. So I'm actually getting kind of excited for it.
Yeah,
in a way I haven't been excited for a Pokemon game in a very long time.
Yeah.
So
yeah, let's so I was going to save these questions for later, but we're already having this conversation.
Sure.
So let's just knock it out with a final thought on these things. So David Lasby writes in via Discord, is Switch 2 capable of handling advanced games like Final Fantasy VII and Elden Ring? I mean,
yes, because those games are older.
Yeah, I mean, my concern with Final Fantasy VII, they already announced the entire trilogy is coming to Switch 2.
So that's where I get concerned. Remake, yes. Remake is a much more linear experience.
Yeah. I mean, Remake or Rebirth and Revamped, I don't know what it's called. Those are the two that you're like, okay, is this really
Rebirth might actually melt that thing in handheld. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah.
I don't know off the top of my head how it performs on the Steam Deck, but I would say however it performs on the Steam Deck would be kind of your baseline, give or take like 10 to 15% percentage points. So I will say this. If they can get Rebirth running on there, I will feel a lot more confident. And I think my litmus test is always going to be, how is this running on the Series S and how does this run on the Steam Deck? That would be my two kind of tests, and kind of mash those scores together. And again, like maybe adjust like 10 to 15% downward. No disrespect intended to Nintendo. That's just how I would be looking at it from like a technical benchmark. And I think studios are better equipped, but you know, it just keeps going back to Nintendo's not equipping them with the stuff that they need for whatever reason. They want to be on this platform. This is the hottest selling console of all time, and they don't have constant software coming out for this.
They should. Aside from dev kits, they literally bought a porting house so they could help third parties port games to Switch 2. Like they literally
like I go into big box retailers, and let me tell you, it is all Switch.
Yeah.
It is all Switch. Like Xbox has a very small presence. PlayStation has a decent one still, I think, just because like PS5 is the market standard right now. But there's no doubt the Switch is where like you go there, it is family and it is family games. It is family games and first parties. That's what you're seeing on there. That's what you want. And I think when we approach it like that, sure, it can handle it. And I know that there's always, well, Nintendo always works their magic and their stuff. So great. We're talking about third parties. Like, I expect your first party stuff to run efficiently at all times. I expect that. If it's not, we've got a bigger question that we've got a bigger discussion to have, such as Breath of the Wild taking 8 years to run properly. And a console upgrade when that was a launch game and technically a Wii U game. Yeah. But I think you can run it, and then I see things like Borderlands 4 and I lose some hope. Borderlands 4 is a catastrophe from everything I have read.
On the Switch. Yeah. I mean, Borderlands 3 didn't run great on Switch 1. So
I remember Borderlands 2 on the Vita, if you want to talk about really bad Gearbox games.
Oh my gosh, that perfection, Josh. What are you talking about?
That was I had never played Borderlands before. That was my first exposure to Borderlands. It turned me off to the franchise for at least another like 7 years outside of Tales from the Borderlands.
Oh,
it was insanely. It was so insanely bad.
I'm sorry, Josh, that was your first experience with Borderlands.
Yeah, I still have a grudge against it. I want to
I
find
do
this
have to
exact
say,
story.
it was neat that they got it running on the Vita. It was a neat experience that they decided
It was
to sell
packaged in with my Vita. That's the only reason I played it.
Yeah, the blue one, right? Like
Dude,
it had.
No,
Did you have
it
the
was
blue Vita?
it was just a standard Vita with that as a downloadable game.
Oh man, I swear they had a bundle with Borderlands with like a blue one at some point.
Now they might have, but it's not the one that I had.
Yeah.
I was more excited about all the free games I got through PS Plus than I was about Borderlands. It was so bad.
Yeah, Gravity Rush and Uncharted. Yeah.
According to Epic NNG on Twitter, Borderlands 4's Gamescom build, this is coming from the Gamer. Borderlands 4 Gamescom build on Switch 2 was facing massive FPS drops when several enemies appeared on screen. I'll put it bluntly, they said. Borderlands 4 on the Switch 2 could barely run at 30 frames with 4 enemies on screen in docked mode. It had horrendous input delay, and the render resolution was seemingly turned all the way down. The article says this is the second high-profile port that's had trouble after Elden Ring.
I have heard that there is a, like, and I've felt it in certain games too, where like the Switch 2 Pro controller specifically has a huge input delay.
Yep, I've heard that too.
Very noticeable input delay. I felt it in Mario Kart, let alone, these other third-party ports. So,
also very weird. If you want to play split screen co-op on the Switch 2 for Borderlands 4, you and the other player both have to own a copy of it.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane to me for couch co-op. That's insane.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
But I do think like that is a high-profile game coming out this fall that is facing a lot of trouble, and that's why I think like things like Outlaws, like the next month is going to be real interesting for us to see how two very high-profile AAA games handle it. Like Outlaws is a massive open-world experience, and has dogfights and space and everything else. Like, and hey, if it runs decently in docked, like, and this is the key. They're saying it's struggling in docked right now. Imagine if it's struggling that bad in docked, how does it look like when you undock it?
Yeah, the dock also automatically tries to upscale everything to whatever the highest resolution is. So, like,
but with four enemy, and we don't know if they're exaggerating, right? Like, I would need to talk to, if I don't remember if it's on the floor at PAX West or not for the Switch. I know that it's playable on Xbox and PlayStation.
Yeah, I know. I don't know if Borderlands is there. I know Final Fantasy VII is there. I got multiple reports saying that Final Fantasy VII is amazing on the Switch too. Although I do know that Boss Rush favors Nintendo, to say the least. So
I mean, that doesn't matter. I think my question would be like, has people who are playing this, is this their first time playing the remake? Is it not? Like my first experience with it was on PS5, so I got the best experience up front,
right? And
I talked to friends who played it during COVID on PS4, and were like, I had a base PS4 and it struggled. Like, so well, that's why I kind of looked at it. I'm like, if it was struggling on like a base PS4, like, I know the Switch 2 is a bit more powerful, but if it was struggling on base PS4, like,
I mean, there's a reason why Integrate didn't come over to the PS4, right? I mean, so
I am interested to see, but it's these are going to be your litmus tests, not things like Final Fantasy Tactics.
Yeah. So we had another question from Deshaun. Deshaun, we kind of answered your question. How do y'all feel about the fact that people are already saying the Switch 2 is underpowered, especially at the price point? I mean,
I do think it's underpowered for the price point, but then I take into account the portability factor of it, and that saves a lot for me. That's always going to be a big thing. Like, if you want something to be portable, you're going to sacrifice in power, and I need hardcore gamers who are excited about buying the latest NVIDIA 4 or 5 series graphics card to understand that is part of the trade-off here. Even on some now, I will say, like, I think the price is a little silly, but it's nothing compared to the Ally X, which is entirely too silly. But that is, again, that two different demographics, right? It's the same argument we made about PS5 Pro last year. Like, you can be upset about the $700 price tag. If you're upset about the price point, it's probably not aimed at you. That is aimed towards the enthusiast market. That is aimed towards the high end, I've got money burning a hole in my pocket crowd.
Plus, I think people forget that the ROG Ally or the ROG Xbox Ally X is actually a Windows PC that you can hook a keyboard and mouse up to and actually do work on it and go on the internet. And
that is a PC device that is supposed to be an entry-level PC point for Xbox only gamers to get them interested in PC gaming. That is what its purpose is. I think that $500 one is going to be a great entry point for people, but it's basically going to be a portable Series S. If you want more power, you're going to go buy the Ally X. And for that, when I think about that, no, I don't think that the Switch is like overpriced or anything. The prices on everything are silly. Let's be honest. Like this thing should not be $450. It should be like $350 to $400.
Yeah.
But component sourcing, raw material sourcing, tariffs has made it impossible for these things to be priced appropriately. And also like just corporate greed.
Yeah, that too.
Corporate greed is the thing. Like, I think Nintendo is a little bit less greedy when it comes to consoles, but that's because they know Nintendo knows better than anyone. They're going to sell a bunch of consoles, but they're going to sell a ton of software. You are buying those consoles to play Nintendo titles. Like we joke all the time. The adoption rate of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe was like 1 in 2.
It was more than that. It was yeah. I mean, they sold 70 million copies, and the Switch 2 has sold. Or the Switch 1 sold, 140 million? So, like, yeah, I guess 1 and 2. So, yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous.
That's like one of the highest adoption rates ever for a first-party game, if not the highest ever.
Yep.
Like, it was the highest ratio since, I think, Halo 1.
Yep.
Which was, Halo 1 was...
it was 2-1. I think it was 1-2.
It was more than that.
Was it?
Halo 1, by the time that the 360 came out, had sold like 16, 17 million copies worldwide. And the original Xbox only sold 20 million units worldwide. It had an insane adoption ratio.
Yeah.
Like, again, like similar argument. You're not buying that. You weren't buying a Switch 1 without getting Mario Kart, essentially. Well, you weren't buying an original Xbox without getting Halo and eventually Halo 2. So... I would make that argument. Like, I think that, yeah, you can say it's a little overpriced. I think the overpriced argument would fade if they had more software across the board. And I'm not talking like, Silksong is coming. I'm not talking Silksong. I'm talking like major third-party software. Cyberpunk being there at launch was such a huge PR hit for them in lieu of having anything beyond Mario Kart for themselves. That was a huge PR boon for them.
Yep.
Like I think about it back to oh god, man, if I go back to the 360, if I can invoke Xbox again, you know, that comes out and it has Perfect Dark, it has Cameo, it has Project Gotham. Project Gotham, you know, probably the best of those 3 games pretty easily. And then there was a game called Call of Duty 2. I don't know if you've ever heard of Call of Duty, Corey, but that was its grand arrival in a good way on consoles, because we had Finest Hour the year before, which was not great.
Don't forget Big Red 1.
Big Red 1 came out at the same time. Funny enough that you say that. Big Red 1 was the one for the old consoles. Call of Duty 2 was exclusive to the 360 on consoles. And it was such a hit. That was what launched Call of Duty into being this console, like, bonanza. So I do think that you're able to... a third-party game can definitely buy you time until you have good games coming out, until you have consistent games coming out. I think Cyberpunk was maybe the perfect thing to bridge the gap between Mario Kart World and Donkey Kong Bonanza. But now the question comes like, well, what do we really have for real releases between Bonanza and Pokemon at the end of September?
Right.
Not much. Like, and that's fine once Nintendo is into their cadence and they're releasing, 6-7 games a year like they typically do. That's great and fine. For a brand new console, it's always a tough sell. It's the same criticism we had about Xbox for a long time. We made the jokes about it during PS5's first year. They had this awesome launch, and then in the next year, they had 2 games. 2 games.
Yeah.
Between launch and Horizon Forbidden West coming out 15, 16 months after launch, you had Returnal and Ratchet & Clank, and they came out pretty much back to back. That was about all you had.
Yep.
And again, like, what saved them? Xbox had nothing.
Yeah.
Xbox had nothing. They had Psychonauts, which was on everything.
Flight Simulator.
and Flight Sim, which was awesome, but again, not a console audience game. It's like bringing Age of Empires over. Like, yeah, there's like some of us degenerates will play these on console, but most of us are going to go play these on PC. So,
Yeah.
low key, a game I would love to see on the Switch too, with the mouse functionality, is Age of Empires.
Let me tell you.
I've heard Civ 7 actually runs properly on handheld now.
Sure.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. Yeah, I'm not going to be testing that one, but
look, I'm still trying to figure out why Roller Coaster Tycoon on the Switch does not work with the mouse. Okay.
Oh my God. Corey, take me to the next story.
All right. We're going to kind of bunch a lot in these stories together because they're about sales, but
we've covered a lot of stuff that was further anyways.
Switch 2 surpasses 2 million units in the US, outpacing the original Switch by 75%, Josh.
Cool.
6 million sales worldwide in just 7 weeks. Its strong launch. Let me see here. I'm trying to skip ahead here. Obviously, with Mario Kart and Donkey Kong, it helped in third-party stuff, but also it has Kirby Air Riders, Pokemon, and Metroid Prime 4 Beyond coming later this year. John.
Maybe.
Plus, that rumored September Direct. We'll see.
Yeah.
But not surprising anybody, Josh. Nintendo Switch and Switch 2 continue to dominate Japanese sales charts. So publication Famitsu reported that Nintendo Switch 2 continues to dominate Japan's boxed charts, so physical games. Mario Kart World and Donkey Kong Bonanza hold the top slots. Only one newcomer on the top 10. Let's see if I can pronounce this correctly, Josh. Okay. My Midwest American white voice is going to pronounce this Japanese name for this video game. Tetsudo Nippon Real Pro Tokyo Kanagawa Tokyo Denetsu Hen.
Sure.
Yep. Was the only newcomer. And there were 0 PlayStation and Xbox games on the top 10.
Not surprised.
Yeah. Also, I rolled this at this point, but hardware sales for Nintendo, the Switch 2 outsold the PS5 3-1.
Yeah, I mean, like at this point, if you're in Japan, you have. If you want one, you have one.
Yeah. So
I am a little surprised that nothing cracked the top 10. A Kojima game didn't crack the top 10. That's a little surprising to me. Unless it did in the past, and I just haven't seen the Japanese charts in a while, which I'm sure it did at the end of June.
Yeah.
But again, that's one of those like, well, once you bought it, you bought it.
Yeah. CD Projekt Red also announced sales results for Switch 2. The Switch 2 launch has seen controversy around game key cards, and many third-party developers criticized for not offering physical games. CD Projekt Red's latest report shows that 75.4% of Switch 2 players who bought Cyberpunk in its launch month chose the physical cartridge. CD Projekt Red emphasizes the importance of complete physical editions for the Nintendo audience, noting that the retail remains strong and offering the full game on the cartridge is the right choice.
Yeah, I mean, that 75% of people who bought 3/4 bought it physically because the full game was on the cartridge. Like, that should send a message to third-party developers.
Yep.
Because that's been one of my biggest problems with this is, why tout that you can buy games physically? Why would I buy a game key card? That's essentially the same as buying an Xbox first party game right now. It's a coaster.
Yeah, and you know what else the key cards do that nobody it talks about, which is surprising, is that when you buy a game key card, it counts as a digital sale. It doesn't count as a physical sale.
That's wild.
So like, even when you pop it in and the studio knows that you purchased this game, it counts as a digital sale.
I hate that.
So like,
there's no point.
There's 0 point. So
you're literally just wasting material. Like, I understand the argument for some of these third-party developers.
Yeah, sure.
Being like, hey, this is going to cost us way too much money, because those bigger game key cards are very expensive. Well, they're very expensive compared to the Switch 1 cards, which were not nearly as bad.
Yeah, so we we actually read a story a couple weeks ago on this show that the company that provides the cartridges to Nintendo only makes this one size, and that Nintendo has actually filed a complaint with them saying that we need smaller size carts for physical.
Yeah, they're realizing people don't want to buy physical games anymore.
Yeah. So they are going to manufacture smaller carts, I guess. But until then, like, these games that are already out. You know, they're not going to republish games. You know, at least most of these companies aren't going to republish their game on a cart when they have already published a key card, right? So
yeah. I was having this conversation with Andre a couple weeks ago, and he was like, "Hey man, are you going to pick up Persona 3 Reload for the Switch?" He's like, "I never finished it, so I think I'm going to buy it for Switch too." And I was like, "Man, if it wasn't a game key card, I would. There's no point in me buying it digitally. I own the actual physical disc, and it is an actual physical game, not an install disc for Xbox." I was like, at that point, if I'm going to buy something digital only, I'm just going to go ahead and buy it through the Xbox store and get Play Anywhere.
Yeah.
So again, it makes sense if it's your primary platform, but it doesn't make sense to me as a multi-platform gamer. It makes no sense.
Yeah. Yeah. That brings us to our last story here. We already talked about Final Fantasy VII Remake a bit, so we're going to skip over that. Playtonic Games also has announced that the full game will be on cart for the Switch 2 release of Yooka-Replaylee, which is out later this year. The digital will cost $29.99, and there are two physical versions. The deluxe edition will cost $49.99. But if you have purchased Yooka-Laylee on the Switch at all, you get a 30% discount. So that would bring it down to like $21 if you buy it digitally. So yeah, that was a big win for them, I think.
But that's $20 difference between the digital and physical edition.
Yeah,
that's, man.
I know. I don't really know what that's all about. I mean, I could see $10, right? But $20 is a lot, man.
$20 for a smaller game.
Go ahead, sorry.
No.
Yeah.
For like a smaller game. Like, and I like Yooka-Laylee, but I don't like it enough to go spend $50 to make sure I have a physical copy of it. Like, for all my grandstanding about physical games, like, yeah, I like physical games because I tend to pick them up when they're on sale, and then I have them on my shelf forever. So
yeah,
I love Black Friday sales for that reason. I stock up on all the physical games I haven't bought all year or for the last couple of years, and like, oh, maybe I bought them digitally, and then I get them if I know that they're actual on cart or on disc, and I get them, and I have them on my shelf then.
Yeah.
So,
this is a win for the studio, considering that they have recently had layoffs, a bunch of layoffs recently also. And I wonder if that $49.99 is they're trying to cover, certain payouts that they need to have, because I think think if this doesn't, I'm almost positive if this game doesn't do well, that we're going to read about them closing. Unfortunately,
closing or being acquired.
Yeah, I mean, it's sad, but I also think them publishing games for a while did not help either, because they tried their own publishing thing for a while, and they aren't even publishing this. I think either Microids or Team 17 is publishing this. So, all right, let's get into some of these smaller stories here for this small story roundup here. Josh, if you have something to say about this, you can, but we're just going to fly through these. Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD 2D has gone gold. The remake has gone gold, marking the completion that the main development has finished ahead of this October 30th, 2025 release on Switch and Switch 2. Hayasaka shared a similar photo that they shared when 3 HD 2D went gold, with Yuji Horii echoing those moments there. Fans, the DLC codes are platform specific. Also, physical editions of Switch 2 versions are on game key cards. So if you are a collector, the Switch 1 version is the one that you want. Trails from the Sky, first chapter, Switch 2 edition, upgrade back confirmed. It is coming out for a $1 upgrade for existing Switch owners. The Switch 1 demo progress also carries over to the Switch 2 version if you decide to upgrade. So that's a good thing. For families and kids, Nintendo has launched its Me Mario stop motion shorts. You can watch them on YouTube or on the Nintendo Switch app that is available. It's part of the My Mario product line for toddlers, and it is kicking off the 40th anniversary of Mario celebrations. So there's that. And then the last thing here, Nintendo is renaming their subsidiary Warp Star Inc. to Nintendo Stars Inc. They are originally known for overseeing the Kirby franchise, but now they are overseeing merchandise, licensing, and the movie and TV show adaptations. So that there, along with Nintendo Studios. So that is that's the wrap up there, Josh. So let's talk about PackWatch. Let's see what you can purchase on your Nintendo Switch this week, Josh. Tell me if you're excited for any of these fun video games. On 9/4, we're getting 4 games. Adventure of Samsara. And also, everybody, these descriptions I'm about to read to you are from the eShop, so you know how it goes when we read these. A lot of these are Google translated to not sound very great. Not all of them, just some of them.
Yeah, a lot of these scream AI.
Yep. A Hero Resurrected, a new adventure with stunning 2D pixel art. Adventure of Samsara combines classic gameplay, a deeply connected world, and a heady, twisted narrative of death, rebirth, and memory. Become a solar champion and restore balance to the multiverse. Sounds like the description of the next Marvel movie. Hollow Knight Silksong.
Yeah, this is the only one that matters. This is the only one that matters.
Have you heard of this? Have you heard about this? Discover a vast haunted kingdom in Hollow Knight Silksong. Explore, fight, and survive as you ascend to the peak of a land ruled by silk and song.
God, such a bad description.
Oh my gosh,
I love it. I love how bad it is.
They're too busy working on the game, Josh, that they couldn't write a description. Okay.
Listen, I believe it.
Mandragora, Whispers of the Witch Tree. Slay Your Way in Mandragora, Whispers of the Witch Tree, an epic action RPG set in a dark fantasy world. Battle monsters, master 6 unique classes, and craft hundreds of useful items, and explore the secrets of an expansive, interconnected world. Star Wars Outlaws, the major Ubisoft game coming out. Experience the first ever open world Star Wars game and explore distinct locations across the galaxy, both iconic and new. Risk it all as scoundrel Kay Vess, seeking freedom and the means to start a new life.
I love Kay and X in this game so much, but it performs so badly.
I'm assuming it's not going to perform amazing on the Switch. It is worth noting that the game is $40 and the gold edition is $60 instead of 60 and 100 like it is on Xbox.
That's interesting. Ubisoft being actually like aware. Interesting.
I'm sure Ubisoft needs to make money, and I'm sure Disney said, "Hey, you need to sell more copies of this game." So
this game did not perform well sales wise, so
it most certainly did not.
Which is a shame because I think that like the bones of a good game are there. And I think Kay and Nix are very, very good characters. Like it's well written, but man, it was just technically it did not perform.
Yeah. 9/5, we're getting 4 games, Josh. Chronos: The New Dawn. A brutal third-person survival horror game where you fight for the future by salvaging the past. Burn monsters before they merge. Extract souls from the living. Adapt or die, Josh. Adapt or die. So this next one, Ed is actually really excited for because he liked the first one, and he's the only person I know that has ever talked about this game ever. Daemon Ex Machina, Titanic Scion. Feel the exhilaration of fast-paced combat in your fully customized armored suit as you freely explore a deadly and dangerous world on a land or in the air. Take on Titanic boss battles alone or with up to 2 other friends in online co-op.
I hate the first game. I think the first game is genuinely one of the most disappointing games I've ever played in my entire life.
Yeah, I did not like the first game either.
The first game was bad, and I was looking so forward to it. That being said, there is a demo out for the second game. I downloaded it, and I need to play it. Our friend Ray Apollo swears on his life that it is significantly better than the first game. So much so to the point that we've been making fun of this game for like 6 months now. He, after playing the demo, has switched from making fun of it to actually buying it day one.
Jeez.
So
I wonder if they fixed the controls. The controls.
I don't know, but I think the fact that I can play it with an Xbox controller this time automatically makes it better. Because I tried playing it on the Joy-Cons and I did not enjoy it. So yeah, I don't know. I'm curious to see how this goes. I don't think I'm willing to spend the money, but I am willing to spend my money on this next game.
Yeah, me too. Day one.
So excited about this.
Everybody's Golf Hot Shots is coming.
Hell yeah.
It's going to be so much better than Mario Golf. The classic gameplay you love. The controls are as simple and intuitive as ever. Just aim and press the button 3 times at the right moment to master the perfect shot. Test the waters with stroke play or test your skills by aiming for the gold in over 100 tournaments implemented in challenge mode.
I'm so excited. I'm buying this immediately.
Yes. I'm buying it on the Switch, Josh. Let me tell you. Buying it on
I don't know
Switch
where I'm buying it yet, but I'm buying this.
It is worth noting that there is no Switch 2 version of this game. It is a Switch 1 game. So, also, Bandai Namco is publishing this PlayStation title, not Sony. Not that it matters, but just an interesting thought since they just published Helldivers on Xbox. And last but not least, NBA 2K26 is coming out. Bragging rights are on the line. And my career, my team, my NBA, the W, and play now. Essentially, code for buy our my team cards. Showcase.
This is gonna be an absolute disaster of a game.
Showcase your bag of moves with hyper realism powered by Pro Play and challenge your friends or rivals in NBA 2K26's competitive modes, or leave no doubt that you wear the crown.
This is going to be one of the worst games of the year, and I'm just here for it. If you're buying NBA 2K to play on the Switch, I just want to know who hurt you.
It is worth noting that there is actually a Switch 2 version of this game, so that will run comparably.
I say this as someone who once attempted to play, I think it was 2K18. I got it for $1 on the eShop. It was not worth $1, Corey.
I liked it. I liked playing it on the Switch.
It played worse than the iPhone version, and I do not say that lightly.
NBA 2K,
and I've heard it's only gotten worse.
Which one? So one of them I played.
They've also become insanely over monetized now.
Yeah. It's you know how you know it's over monetized is when like a month into the season it's $12.99 on the Switch or Switch 2 or the Xbox because they're making so much money off these cards and the monetization for my career. It's crazy. All right, Josh, weekly updates. Here we go.
Oh boy.
Fly through these. System Shock 2 25th Anniversary Edition is getting patch 1.2 on the Nintendo Switch, bringing gameplay tweaks, visual improvements, quality of life features, like a separate quick save slot and an ad hoc multiplayer support. There's also other UI issues that they're in various bugs they're fixing. High on Life Nintendo Switch 2 Edition is out. Nintendo Switch fans upgrading to the Switch 2 can now enjoy a free upgrade for the first-person shooter High on Life, which adds Joy-Con 2 mouse support, enhanced textures, and higher frame rates, and improved resolutions. Street Fighter VI is getting an update. Limited time crossover event with Monster Hunter Wilds. There's also Street Fighter content going to Monster Hunter Wilds, but that game's not on Switch 2, so no reason to mention it there. There's colors, new gear, a battle theme, a themed battle hub makeover, and a return of the Monster Hunter 20th Anniversary Fighting Pass, which must have come out when Rise came out, I guess, or came to other platforms. No Man's Sky Voyager's update is coming to Switch 2, letting players design and build their own customizable Corvettes, complete with interiors, med bays, and war rooms, and more. Hitman World of Assassination Signature Edition on Switch. Essentially, they're making it work. Adding a default 30 frames per second mode, dropping the resolution for stabilizing performance, fixing crashes, lighting issues, frame rate drops in specific scenarios. The patch significantly improves stability for players, though the unlocked 60 frames per second mode remains jittery. IO continues to prepare for new releases like 007 First Light and a remaster of Hitman Absolution for the platform. Josh, have you heard of this game, Pokemon Go?
I have heard of Pokemon Go.
It's receiving its first major update on October 15th, 2025. That raises the level cap from 50 to 80 and rebalancing the leveling curve with new rewards, cosmetics, and the ability for some players to automatically jump levels based on their earned XP.
I have not played Pokemon Go in 6 years now.
Dude, I haven't played it since I worked at the restaurant. I caught a Charmander in the bathroom and I was like, I'm good. And
did you Pokemon go to the polls?
Go to the polls?
What? It was a meme when Pokemon Go came out.
Oh, I did not.
Pokemon Go came out in 2016 and we had an election in 2016.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So
we sure did, Josh. We sure had an election in 2016. Let me tell you.
Christ.
Nintendo Alarmo is also being updated if you have one.
Oh boy.
Adding 7 free Kirby themed alarms, including songs from Kirby and the Forgotten Lands Starry World or Starcross World content to the Alarmo app in a future update. Nintendo Switch Online updates. Super Nintendo is getting mouse support for Switch 2 Joy-Con 2 controllers and USB mouse compatibility for Mario Paint, Nobunaga's Ambition, and Mario Super P-Cross. So that's cool. It's also getting better CRT filters. And so is the Nintendo 64. It's getting new CRT filters and rewind abilities. Chibi Robo is the newest game on Nintendo GameCube.
The less of the Robo games.
Yeah, sorry, Josh. And then Kirby and the Forgotten Land soundtrack has been added to Nintendo Music, as well as 7 tracks from Kirby Air Riders. So that's what we got for your updates, everybody. Let's get into question block. Josh, this is where our community can write in and ask questions, and we answer them. We have 2 more left. We answered one of these already, so we only have 2 questions here. Josh,
let's do it.
Stephen Myers writes in via YouTube comment. These are both YouTube comments, everybody. How do you feel about Switch 2 versions of games that are already out? Do you think Bethesda should go back and update Doom and Wolfenstein, CG Projekt for The Witcher 3? Should third-party games handle? How should third-party games handle this? Looking forward to your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of addressed this already. I'm all for going back and doing updates to games that are already out on the Switch.
Yeah.
If it makes financial sense. I think you would have to look at it and be like, well, these have like either consistently sold decently for us or has a really large install base to justify it at this point. I would mainly say like Nintendo needs to do it with all of their games personally. At least to their biggest games, and like stop charging $10 for it. You don't need to charge $10. I know that some of the updates are free, but you did not need to charge $10 for Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. I'm just going to say that. But I do think that, you know, when you look at some of the big third-party games like Witcher 3 and Skyrim, and I would even see like things like Diablo 3, I would definitely go back and update them to have Switch 2 versions, because I mean, those are older games. There should be no reason with getting them Switch 2 versions. It's basically just taking the Series S version and putting it on there. It's basically taking the Smart Delivery version and porting it over.
Yep.
The question is, do you have the manpower, considering we know, especially when it comes to Bethesda, because we know about all the job cuts that have happened.
Right.
That would be my biggest question there. And also, like, again, this goes back, lack of development kits. Would you rather port something that has been out for that many, or update something that's been out for that many years and have to take people off, or contract a third-party studio to do it like Virtuos? Or would you rather focus on getting something else ported over, like Elder Scrolls Oblivion? You know, would you rather bring the Oblivion remaster over? Would you rather bring Dune: The Dark Ages over? Like, they're already bringing over Indiana Jones. That's probably going to be a monumental effort. I personally would rather see that stuff come over, because that would inspire more confidence. And then maybe later on in the generation, or once the economy stabilizes, you can worry about updating those games. Maybe you update them when there's, like, maybe Skyrim gets an update when Elder Scrolls Oblivion comes over. Maybe the Wolfenstein games get them after or in the lead up to Indiana Jones, you know?
Yeah.
You can tie them in together somehow. Maybe Doom Eternal will run properly now when Dark Ages comes over. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree with what you said.
Take the CD Projekt Red porting team, though, and put them on Witcher 3. Like, you should do that today.
Yeah, I think there are two different ways these companies can go, right? Like, they could do it in-house, like CD Projekt. It would probably benefit from porting The Witcher over, just because obviously the Witcher 3 runs on their own internal engine, although Saber Interactive is the one that ported it to Switch 1. So you know, there's companies,
they've got their own problems.
I mean, yeah, but that's a story for a different day. You know, Panic Button is they did the Bethesda ports of Doom and Wolfenstein. You know, they're a pretty decent port studio. Virtuos does a lot of porting, right? Like, they do all the Final Fantasy games and a lot. But Nintendo also has Shiver Entertainment, which is the studio that ported Hogwarts Legacy to Switch 1, which was an interesting port. Obviously not the primary way to play that game, but they did port it to make it work, and it works, interestingly enough. So Nintendo could also help port these games, and if you're going to charge $10 for these upgrades or whatever, like, okay, but also, you know, like you said, Josh, does it make financial sense? And is the game like physically big enough in terms of, you know, like something like Shovel Knight or Axiom Verge doesn't need a Switch 2 version, right?
Sure.
There's no point, right? I'm actually shocked Amina the Hollower got a Switch 2 version, which I'm not complaining, but that's just an interesting thing. So
Smart Delivery really spoiled us.
What?
Smart Delivery really spoiled us.
I know, dude. I was trying to find stuff on PlayStation the other day, just kind of floating around the store, and it was like, do you want to download the PlayStation 4 version or the PlayStation 5 version?
It's so bad.
You don't own the PlayStation 5 version. Would you like to purchase it? And I'm like, no. No, I do not want to purchase it. Then I turned it off and turned my Xbox on. I was like, better. So much better. I would like to see the best versions of every game on every platform that it's available on. You know, like, I would love to see that. But again, it takes time, effort, money. What's your return on investment with doing that?
Yeah.
So, all right, our last question here, Josh, comes from Sam Hall, also via YouTube. What types of third-party games do you think will perform best on Switch 2? RPGs are obviously very popular on the handheld, but titles like Cyberpunk 2077 have also done well at launch. While certain genres may naturally perform better, there's also an audience that wants a wide variety of games on the platform. What are your thoughts?
JRPGs.
Yeah.
I think the Switch really solidified itself as the place to play JRPGs, short of, like, you know, the ones that were kind of locked to PlayStation for a long time, like Persona. They didn't get Persona until very late in the generation, much like Xbox. So I would say, I think JRPGs, like I think a lot of these smaller franchises that aren't like as widely known in the West, at least, do significantly better on the Switch when you look at the worldwide sales. And I even think when you look in like North America, like that's probably where you're going to play. You're probably playing things like Daisuke and Rune Factory and whatnot on the Switch. That's where my gut would be. I actually don't think Western RPGs are going to be very big at all. I think that Cyberpunk is probably an anomaly in that department, to be quite frank.
I think it sold well because it was a launch title, and obviously like something that had that much backlash in terms of like, it was supposed to be a graphical whatever, right? And it running on a console like the Switch, which at the time we weren't really sure how it would run on a Switch 2, right? Because the specs were whatever, right? But like considering things were running on the Switch 1 at varying degrees, like I think people bought Cyberpunk, a lot of people, based on just pure curiosity. And it being a launch game also helped, so it's also hard to say there. But like you said, yeah, JRPGs and strategy RPGs are obviously the key ones that will do great. Grinding in handheld mode while you're watching TV is like obviously the pinnacle of playing the Switch, essentially. I don't know. I think indie games obviously will still do well here.
Yeah. I didn't want to give the generic indie
I know.
game answer because I think that's kind of obvious.
Yeah.
I would say, like, in terms of actual genres, I think JRPGs and I think dungeon crawlers are going to be pretty big too. I think things like Diablo and obviously like Minecraft Dungeons was a big hit on the Switch. Like, I think ones like that are big. And also like things that are, let me say this, not necessarily survival games, but like, I'm going to call them cozy games.
Yeah. Disney Dreamlight Valley, Josh.
Disney Dreamlight Valley, Stardew Valley, Minecraft. I consider Minecraft to be one, even though it's a survival game. Like, I think games like that are going to continue to be really, really big on the Switch, and that's fine. I would say if you're expecting things like Elden Ring to be big, you're probably a little off your rocker.
Yeah, that's another game. Like, if it didn't come out that it was running poorly on Switch 2, I feel like that's another game people would have bought out of pure curiosity.
I think they would have bought it out of curiosity, but that game also has a version that runs portably very, very well right now.
The Steam Deck version?
Yeah. And I think it's kind of like, I think people bought Cyberpunk because it was a launch game. I think if it come out even 3 months later, I don't think it would have had that kind of curiosity. I think that Final Fantasy VII is going to do something similar. Right? I think people are just going to be like, oh, this and that. And like, I do think that for that game, at least, I think there is a sizable audience that only has a Switch, or their kids have a Switch, and like maybe they don't have anything else. And like, oh, I remember Final Fantasy from when I was a kid. I'll pick this up and try it out. And then they're going to find out it's only like the first quarter of the actual game.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and also I think the like we mentioned earlier, I think the real test for Final Fantasy VII will be when Rebirth ends up coming out on this thing.
Well, it's also very telling to me that Final Fantasy 16 has not been announced for the Switch 2, but you got Remake announced, and you got the trilogy for Remake announced, which like people have never reneged on announcements before. Oh, that's never happened. I thought it was very telling that they have not announced that, whereas we got 16 announced as a shadow drop for Series X and S. At the summer showcase. I thought that was really interesting to me, that because we thought that 16 is going to get announced too, and then there was no 16 announcement.
Yeah,
there was just 7. So I found that to be a little intriguing personally.
Unless they're saving it for Tokyo Game Show, but I doubt it.
I highly doubt it. That would be interesting, but no, I think your biggest announcement out of Tokyo Game Show for the Switch from a major publisher is likely to be Forza Horizon coming to the Switch.
Yeah, the Tokyo one, the new one, the 6.
No, I actually think they're going to outright come out and just release 5. Because 5 had I believe 5 had an Xbox One version.
It did. So
yes, it did. So I think that makes bringing it over a little bit easier. And I mean, obviously, it's run fantastic on the S all these years. I think that'll be the one that gets announced. I think they're gonna. I actually don't know if you're going to get the PlayStation confirmation of Horizon 6 on that day. I think Microsoft might just want to like we speculated about this. You can listen to it on Xbox Casuals, our Tokyo Game Show predictions. But I do think that will be the big thing announced at TGS, like the major franchise coming over. I don't think that 16 is going to be. I think they want 7 to have its time in the light on the Switch, and then maybe sometime next year we get 16 announced. I don't know.
Yeah, I wonder how much of that is, again, Nintendo controlling the message of like, we only want specific focuses on specific games, right?
It's very weird to me. It's just I don't like how that goes. I think third-party developers would be more.
They've always been like that, though.
I know they have, and it's frustrating. It goes all the way back to the GameCube and the N64.
Yeah, I mean, even when Persona was announced for Xbox, we were like, oh. They didn't announce it for Switch, but then literally the very next Direct, which was like, what, a week or two later, they announced all of them coming. It was like,
yeah. Well, so that one was also a very weird situation. From what I heard behind the scenes, was Microsoft, because that was like one of their like they had 3 One More Things that year, because they went from that straight into OD with Hideo Kojima, and then the first Starfield demo, and apparently Microsoft paid for the marketing. I mean, they paid for all the marketing for those games straight up.
Right, but usually that stuff is when they announce it, they will announce what other content is coming to.
No, I'm saying that was like part of their part of Microsoft's deal was they wanted it to only be announced for them, and then whatever you do at a later show is fine. But like, we want that initial couple of days to just be focused on it coming to us,
right? Because
at the time they were still able to compete with PlayStation,
right?
And that was seen as like this big blow for like the JRPG community. And it was like this, like, oh my God, like we've got Japanese companies supporting Xbox again. And, well, it's kind of stayed there with Atlas.
Yeah. It's only Sega and Atlas, essentially.
I mean, listen, Square is committed to putting everything under the sun on there now. The fact that Octopath Traveler 0 got announced day and date, and then they shadow dropped Triangle Strategy during Gamescom is awesome.
Yeah. I can't, man. I mean, Triangle Strategy, I loved that game when it came out. It's probably going to sell like 12 copies on the Xbox.
That might be an overestimation.
Yeah.
But I mean, hey, I will happily take it. There is an audience for these games, and it's just like, it might not be the biggest audience like you would get on the Switch or on the PlayStation, for a JRPG, but like, inversely, I don't think there's going to be the demand for games like. I think there is a demand for games like Cyberpunk on the Switch, but you're probably playing that and Elden Ring on a console or a platform that can give you the actual good experience of these games.
Yeah,
not that Cyberpunk is fine. It's fine, but man, once you've played that in 4K 60, you can't go back.
Plus, like, yeah, I mean, I would say that with any shooter also for the Switch, right? Like
100%.
There's interesting. It's interesting that like interesting.
I mean, how are you going to handle it when Call of Duty finally comes over as part of the agreement with the FTC?
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm sure it'll sell fine on the Switch, but also like, if you're playing Call of Duty and you're playing with your friends, like you're going to be playing it on Xbox or PlayStation or PC, right? Like you're going to want to be in that either that party chat or that Discord. And you're gonna want your online connection to not suck.
Dude, you don't want to use game chat?
Hey man, press C to chat. I get it.
I definitely
get it. I want my
call that, but I call the C button something else. So
I want my face on the gun when somebody murders me, and my surprise look pops up.
Dude, I can't wait for the first time that somebody tries playing a multiplayer shooter like that, and the game runs at like 3 frames a second.
Yeah, I also wonder which Call of Duties are coming over too. I doubt it's going to be Black Ops 7 or 8 or
they are committed to bringing over the newest ones. That was the agreement. So I'm fascinated to see when they attempt to do this.
I'm gonna whip out my favorite meme.
I do wonder if will they be the first studio to say that you have to play this game docked?
No,
for the Switch 2.
No.
You don't think Activision Blizzard will be the first one to say you have to play this game docked?
No, that was like a requirement from Nintendo, though. It was like, because there were 2 games that released that were quote unquote only handheld games. Like you couldn't play it docked, and Nintendo removed them from the eShop and said you need to make these playable docked.
I wonder, Nintendo is probably going to have to bend on that at some point.
I mean, Xbox hasn't.
I would say the only advantage you have there is they're already going to be trying to optimize for handhelds and for the S. And since that's what they develop all their games to be able to run on both, you probably have a little bit of an advantage coming from them. But it's going to be really hard if like Sony games want to make the jump, or like don't get any illusions that something like Wukong is going to go running on here, or, you know, God, dude, I would love to see Baldur's Gate 3 run. I've heard nothing but terrible things about it on the Steam Deck.
Yeah,
I'd love to see that try to run.
That would be, but that would also be a game I would assume if they got it running okay would sell well on the Switch.
I think that game would sell phenomenally on the Switch, and like that is not an indictment on that at all. I think Diablo 4 is the one I'm shocked did not come right away.
I mean, I'm sure they're trying to optimize it. Plus, that game needs to be online all the time, and I'm sure Nintendo's online stuff is not up to par with everybody else.
Oh, I guarantee you it's not. I think that's the other hoop to jump through when it comes to something like Black Ops or like even Rivals. Like I've seen some people surprised that Marvel Rivals hasn't come over yet.
Yeah, me too.
Or that's Overwatch 2. You know, Overwatch 2 being a free-to-play game now.
It's
like,
on.
Why is that?
Well, it's on Switch 1.
I want the Switch 2 optimized versions, Corey.
I know. I'm just saying. Oh, you can play Overwatch on your Nintendo Switch right now, Josh.
I'm a graphics and performance princess, so.
But Josh, it runs so well. It's 600p and 28 frames a second.
Oh my God! Get me out of here before I say things I'm gonna regret.
All right, we're gonna get out of here. Any final thoughts from you, Josh? Any positivity to send people into the week with?
It's Silksong week. We made it.
Yes, Silksong fans, you have made it. You are clear for launch. You can.
I saw somebody make a GIF of there's a scene in My Hero Academia where All Might imagines the previous users of One for All passing One for All to each other, and then his master handing it to him when he's about to use the last of the embers of One for All to beat All for One in season 3. And when he does that, it was Silksong was like Nana Shimura handing One for All off to All Might, and All Might's head it's a Kingdom Hearts 4. And I was like, oh God, is that the next one that we're gonna have to?
Yep.
That won't be bad for me, but like, oh God, is that the next one that
I think everybody's expectations have already been set considering how long we waited for Kingdom Hearts 3. Okay.
Dude, how long we waited, and then remember when it was like randomly shown at an Xbox showcase, and we were like, what?
Yeah.
That and Project Spark back to back.
Oh man!
All right, get me out. That's my positivity. We made it. It's Silksong week.
Yeah. Everybody out there, just be kind to one another. Have fun playing your video games. Doesn't matter where you play or what you're playing. Just have fun.
Yep.
Just have fun. All right, we're gonna get out of here. I want to thank everybody out there for watching and or listening to this episode of Nintendo Pow Block. You can catch us every Monday on your podcast service of choice or on YouTube. Like, subscribe, share, rate, and review wherever you listen. Josh, thanks for your extra time this week.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Appreciate it. You should probably come on more than once every 5 years.
Yeah, we only took 2.5 hours, and a solid hour of that was me ranting about how I need GameCube games back in my life. So
yeah,
this was a win.
It was a win. It was certainly a win. And everybody out there, you're winning for listening to us talk about all this stuff. So thank you so much for watching and or listening. And until next time, we love you. Goodbye. If you want to see how you can become a Patreon producer, head on over to patreon.com/BossRushNetwork. The Patreon producers for this month are Adriel Munger, Austin Campbell, Celeste Roberts, Sana Dirrig, Francisco Santillan, Matthew Keel, and Christian S. Thanks for your continued support of the Boss Rush Network.